last 10 years, I went from not being able to approach women without shaking to now being really confident around women and being able to approach and do things like this. Here, we'll grab drinks sometime while you're here, and I'll show you a fun time.
There you go. Well, it's very nice to meet you. And very bold of you to trace me down.
Oh, cool. Well, I'll get back to my steps, but here, let me grab your number. I was gonna see if you wanted to grab a drink or like coffee or something.
I can't today because I'm about to go to work.
Yeah.
But I can give you my Instagram.
Yeah. Here, I'll give you mine and we'll do that. So what I've done in this video is I've put together a full guide on how to go from having approach anxiety to starting conversations to being able to tell if she likes you. And I also break down a lot of mistakes that guys make along the way with trying to get dates. So you can actually have this part of your life systemized and enjoy life rather than, waiting for some fairy tale princess to sweep you off your feet. So I hope you enjoy. All right, fellas, it's time to stop lying to you. It's time to let the cat out of the bag. Okay, dating is actually very easy. Especially in 2025, it's super easy. And there's a few core principles that make dating easy because it feels like it's harder than it ever has been. But that's because you're approaching it like a guy. You're not approaching it from a woman's perspective. And what I had to understand when I was going through this transformation where I went from this guy who couldn't talk to a girl without shaking to this guy who couldn't hold a frame in a relationship. The girl I was with didn't really respect me. She wasn't really attracted to me towards the end, and I had to end that relationship. To now a guy that is confidently able to approach women on the street, get very positive reactions, get a lot of dates. Women are very attracted to me on average, way more than they were when I was younger. I had to understand myself from a woman's perspective and how I'm actually perceived. Women have such a better ability to perceive how confident you are in yourself, and they can read all of this bullshit through tests and through subconscious, basically like intuition, that they understand if you are actually attractive or not and if you deserve them or not. And most of it comes down to one law, the law of emotional mirroring. Women will always feel how you feel. If you go up to a girl and you can be nervous, it's fine. But if you don't think you deserve her, then you're fucked. And this is something that took me a very long time to understand. I had to get to the point where I genuinely felt like if I expressed myself in the most authentic and charismatic way I possibly could, women would be attracted to me. And I had to genuinely believe that. And the only way that I found to help other people and myself get to that point is to understand that you already, as a man, biologically, have all the tools to attract a woman that you are interested in. You have all the anatomy of a guy. You have all the hormones. You have all of the ability to be a masculine, dominant, assertive guy in his day-to-day life. You have that already. Now, if you're not using it to the fullest of your ability, that is your problem and you need to change that. But you have the ability to. You have the potential to be a very attractive guy. Every guy has this. Every guy has the ability to be a man that women desire, no matter what, point blank, period. Now, if you're lazy and you're not ambitious and you don't want to improve and you don't want to get better at this, then you can click off this video because this won't work for you. It just won't, because women like guys that go for what they want and really genuinely want to be the best versions of themselves. That's one of the most attractive things. Now, there are three main things that keep you from unlocking that full potential in your dating life, from living up to your potential and actually being the attractive version of yourself that women genuinely want from you, not this fake, I need to pretend to be someone I'm not, kind of fucking dorky guy that's just, trying to flex whatever money or job or like logical shit that women don't actually fucking care about. There are three frames that you need to hold in order to be this attractive guy. Now, the first frame is around the law of emotional mirroring, where women will always feel how you feel. So a lot of guys think I have to structure the interaction so that I show the most interesting and best and high value parts of myself. And that can work. But what I found is a lot more effective is just being open, raw, and unfiltered about who you are. So if you're really passionate about music and you talk about your music, you're going to naturally be more interesting because you're passionate about that thing. If you have this drive and ambition to start a business and you want to talk about that, then talk about it. If you want to talk about fitness, talk about fitness, but talk about it in a way that makes it clear I'm really fucking into this thing. Right now, I'm playing Stardew Valley, which is it's a very cozy, like farming game, okay? I will talk to girls. I'll be in a conversation with a really hot girl, and I will literally think, wouldn't it be cool and funny to just talk for 5 minutes and rant about how epic this fucking game is? How I have my Galaxy fucking hammer and it's enchanted and I have, my iridium scythe and I'm scything down all these star fruits and I'm making wine out of it. I'm making millions of gold and I'm fucking sick. That would be funny because I just want to see how she reacts to it. And that makes me so much more attractive to this girl because I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to let her judge me. I'm going up in front of the girl. I'm like, hey, judge me. I don't give a fuck. And that's very attractive. It's not the fucking starfruit wine that makes me attractive. It's the fact that I'm okay with her judging me. I'm okay with that. And if you want to hit a point where you are truly your authentic masculine self, then that's the first thing you need to do. You need to get to a point where you're okay with girls judging you and you almost like crave it. Like, I want you to judge me. Please tell me I'm not good enough for you. I dare you. And it's like a game of chicken. She's like, oh, fuck. Like, if he's this confident, maybe there's a reason I should like him. The next mindset I wanted to talk about in this video was that most of you guys, with trying to be your most authentic self, you're not actually this guy where it's like, oh, my authentic self is actually like very boring. It's probably not boring. You're probably just scared, probably just walking on eggshells, and you're filtering all the things that you have to say. What I've found has been very helpful for this is a mindset of self-amusement, going into the interaction thinking, how can I make this the most fun for myself that I possibly can? And when you think about it from a selfish perspective, it sounds like it wouldn't work. It sounds like, like if I'm having fun and she's just standing there, like, how is that gonna make sense? But women are naturally drawn to fun. They're drawn to the emotions. Everybody has this kind of aura around them, like an energy about them. And if your energy is good, she's gonna want to be around that. So if you prioritize your own good time and your own fun, then it's going to go a lot better for you. So I make jokes about things that I think are funny. I make jokes about me balding. I make jokes about how, women love me. I like go really over the top and super cocky just because I think it's funny. So if that fits your personality, you can do that. Sometimes I'll disqualify the girl. I'll be like, oh, see, this is why it would never work between us. Like, it's just the height difference is too much. Like, being able to express myself and not be afraid to offend her is the most important thing. I'll have like an awkward silence in an interaction. One bit that I really like to do is like the awkward silence comes up and I just go, so, and then I just start laughing because I think it's so funny. I'm like trying to make it awkward. I almost try to fuck up my interaction sometimes. And for me, that makes me laugh and I genuinely think it's fun. And then that actually helps with getting her more into me. To piggyback off of that, the third point that I wanted to make is that belief with this stuff is everything. Believing that the most authentic version of myself is the version of me that will attract this girl. That is the most important thing. When I get rejected, I would always try to walk away, even if it was me being bald or something, negative about me that she doesn't like. I would always walk away from it like, man, I could have been more authentic. I could have been more me. I could have been less stuck in my head. I could have been more expressive. Because if you have that belief, then you actually have a chance to improve. If you don't take accountability and you blame some external factor like my genetics or something like that, then you can't do anything about that. It takes control away from you, which ultimately makes you feel like less of a man. We actually had a client in town. I went out with one of my guys in my program, Tanbir, over the weekend, and he was 5'5", okay? This dude is short. And I was having him on the last night of the boot camp, I was having him approach these girls that were like 6'3", 6'4", in heels, right? Like, these girls were tall. He was approaching, and I was having him approach in a very fucking bold way. Like, yo, what's up? I have a thing for tall blonde girls. Yeah, we should go on a date. Let's fucking go. And he was like trying to like lead and push things forward. And because he was so cocky and so arrogant about it, and it was so obvious that like this height difference is crazy, because he was willing to just self-amuse and have fun with the interaction, he actually got to the point where girls were like nervous and giggling and like they really were like eating it up. And he didn't have the skills yet to like actually move things forward. Like, he didn't have the full confidence of like, no, like, okay, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to get your number. We're going to go on a date. It's going to be romantic. We're going to have some crazy kids. They're going to be fucking, we have no clue how tall these kids are going to be. They're going to be either really fucking tall or just like super short like me. And we have no fucking clue. He wasn't able to go that far. But it opened his mind to the fact that these girls could be convinced that they're attracted to him. Most women can be convinced that they are attracted to a guy if he is assertive enough, if he believes in himself enough, and if he's confident enough. Most women could be into it. They could be convinced. The only things keeping them from that is, one, the guy's lack of confidence, and two, limiting beliefs that they have about what is possible in terms of what they could be attracted to, because they probably don't have a good experience with a short guy yet, because most short guys are they're not confident, or they don't have a lot of good experiences with a guy that's a little overweight. because most overweight guys are not confident. But it's not because they're overweight that they're not confident. They're not confident because they think they need to be something else. And you don't need to be. Now, by all means, go out, get your leg extension surgery, okay? Go get liposuction. Go to the gym, lose some weight. Get fucking jacked, bro. Like, make money. Cool. But that's not why you're not getting girls. You're not getting girls because you're not the most authentic and raw version of yourself. And that's why dating's hard. Because you're competing with guys with external resources that you will never achieve. No matter how jacked, rich, or good looking you get, there's always someone better, and you can't outcompete on those things. What you can outcompete on is you, because there's only one of you. You can make you the best version of yourself, the most unfiltered and unique version of yourself, and the most authentic. And that is how you're going to attract women, especially nowadays. Women have such good bullshit filters. It's almost impossible to get anything past a girl that's somewhat socially savvy. She's going to know you're not actually confident. And honestly, most women, like when they talk about high standards, it's really not the external stuff that women have too high standards of. Like they'll say that, but it's really not that. It's men have fallen behind in terms of confidence and assertiveness because we've become so materialistic and so focused on these external factors. That's all it is. So if you want more videos like this, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you want to see next. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. As a guy that used to not be able to talk to girls without shaking, small talk would terrify me. I used to always say things like, oh, I'm just bad at small talk. I need to talk about deep topics. And I took myself way too seriously, and it really hindered my ability to meet the types of women that I want. Because at the end of the day, we all know this, like watching this video, if you want to date attractive women, you need to reach some level of social calibration, social hook point, where she feels like, okay, this guy is just a cool guy, so I can actually start to potentially even view him as an option. You need to have social calibration. So in this video, I'm going to give you 6 different phases, all the way from beginner at small talk and social interaction to going to more advanced, where you are the most interesting guy that the girl has met that week, that month, or even that year. And genuinely, this is very possible. And this gets girls very excited to see you again if you actually do end up getting her number. So the first thing you have to understand about small talk, it breaks down into a very simple structure. There's question, answer. She asks you the same question back, answer, right? So you ask a question, she answers, she asks, you answer. That's the very basics of small talk. And that loop just repeats. An example of this would be, where are you from? I'm from here. Oh, cool. Where are you from? I'm from here, right? That's the very boring thing. And that's how you get into interview mode, and you kind of kill the vibe if you just stop there. So even with that very boring structure by itself, you can actually get into really good interactions. I'm going to explain exactly how. I'm going to get into some mindset stuff around this, but you're going to want to make sure you watch this whole thing, because most guys are oblivious to this stuff, and you need to understand it if you want to truly master the art of small talk. So do not click off this video. So what you have to understand about small talk is that small talk is not just what you're saying. It is an energy exchange. I want you to imagine everywhere you go, there's a bubble of energy around you, like a Super Saiyan fucking aura around you at all times, right? Every group you see, every person you see has this energy woo-woo blah, 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 kind of bubble around them, right? It's very woo-woo, very fucking cringe, but everyone has this, okay? Now, your energy, when it enters another group's energy, what most guys do is they try to match that other group's energy, but they just try to add to it. So instead of 2 people with the same vibe, we now have 3 people with the same vibe. Now, the problem with that is that these girls that you're talking to are like, well, I was already enjoying the vibe with me and my friend. And adding a third person without changing anything doesn't really make it better, right? So what you have to do is have your own energy. And when you enter the other person's bubble, you are now altering the chemistry, and you should try to alter the chemistry of that energy that's around them. And being aware of your emotional state is going to be very important around this. If you go in to an interaction and you try to intuit how kind of the vibe of the girls, and you try to match that, and you are like a nice guy that's like, oh, that's cool, and you just have this like very positive type of vibe. You're not speaking your mind. You're afraid to offend. You're walking on eggshells. It's just going to be a slightly shittier version of the vibe that they already had when you approached. There's a very important concept around this called the law of emotional mirroring. Women will feel how you feel. This is a fundamental law of talking to women and attraction. Women will always feel what you are feeling. And they will feel if you are reserved. They will feel if you are holding yourself back. They'll feel if you're genuinely expressing yourself. They'll feel if you're being authentic. Now, like in these videos, I try to ham it up a little bit for the camera, but generally I'm pretty much like this. Like I'm in coaching mode right now, but my personality outside of this is pretty much the same. I'm maybe a little goofier whenever I'm not filming. And that's it. I'm just who I am. I'm me, right? I'm Tim. I'm a dating coach, but I'm also just a fucking guy, right? And when I make these videos, I try to have my own authentic personality come through in the video. So I like try to make jokes, try to make references to stuff that I like. And that's really important to me. And the reason I do that is because my energy is impacting on you, right? So if I come on and I'm trying to like tell you how it is and like, try to coach you through some bullshit and do some weird, like, trying to frame myself as some authority, then it comes off weird. It comes off inauthentic. But if I just talk about my experiences, I'm a lot more authentic. And I've done a lot of work on just trying to express who I am and like the personality that I have. And when you go up to a girl and you enter her bubble, it's a lot of the same thing that's happening. She's going to feel all the experiences you've had in your day leading up to this point. She's going to feel if you're nervous. She's going to feel if you're anxious. And she's going to feel if you actually want to talk to her. So the reason I talk about this stuff is that if you're watching this channel, you're probably thinking with your logic brain, how do I talk to this girl? You're not thinking with your emotional creativity brain, how do I vibe with this girl? How do I connect with her? How do I see her for who she actually is? And how do I express who I actually am and trust that, honestly, the right girls will genuinely like that? I know it's not the super sick all-in-one answer that you want, but women will feel your vibe. This is one of the first things I work on inside my coaching programs. There's a reason I talk about this stuff a lot. It's because your vibe and how you come off, how you feel about yourself will affect your communication. And there's no way around it. There's no workaround. There's no faking it. How you feel about yourself will affect how she feels about you. Always. So just remember that when you're going into any sort of small talk scenario, she's always going to feel how you feel. She's always going to reflect that vibe. And you will be, whether you like it or not, altering the chemistry of her own energy bubble. And you need to be aware of that. Because a lot of guys, they just try to fall into place. We're kind of taught our whole lives, like sit in the chair, be a good boy, sit down. Like I have some fucking crazy ADHD, right? And so when I was a kid, like I would get fucking yelled at for like getting up and like I would never take a nap and all that kind of shit because I was just me, right? And so I got put in my fucking place and that beat me down until I wasn't very expressive and I was this guy on the screen, right? Like I was this fucking shy, like awkward kind of dude. And I had to really rewire a lot of that stuff. And the way I did that was by really looking inside and trying to accept myself. Like what are the parts of my personality that are actually like really fun, that I like, that I wouldn't change for anything. Like no amount of money, I wouldn't change this about myself. And I think that's really important just to understand before we get into this. I know it's like high level and you want to get into the tactics and stuff like that, but before we get into it, that is one of the most important things you got to understand. Now we can get into the logical part, the fucking engineer brain. All you engineers watching this shit, I know you're out there like, all right, how do I get into her mind and fucking mind meld with this girl? Okay, like what are the tactics? The tactics are broken down into two parts. One, building rapport, and two, breaking rapport. And both of these have specific functions in an interaction. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you the conversation loop and how to build off of it so you can have an endless conversation that never ends, that's always fun, and always keeps her hooked and engaged. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. So let's talk about building rapport. First, with building rapport, you have to be interested in the girl as a person. So actually interested in what she's up to, what her hobbies are, what her passions are, the things she likes to do, her experiences, right? And you have to be able to be genuinely interested in that. I don't know how else I can say it. You need to be interested. Now, the second part of building rapport is to share personal input. Personal input just comes down to being open about your own experiences. So if I'm talking to a girl at Whole Foods, I'm talking to her about like healthy food or whatever, like, oh my God, you're like a vegetable freak. Like, what's going on here? She's like, oh yeah, I really like to eat healthy. Oh, nice. I actually just started doing one of my buddies does fitness content. I just started doing one of his workout plans and like his diet and stuff. And I've lost some weight and I feel really good about it. Like, I'm actually pretty pumped. I really like going to the gym. I just need somebody to push me. Just that personal input into the insight of like who I am, the type of person I am. I like to push myself. I like to, push my comfort zone. That is very important to be able to do. You have to make yourself a human being. And this comes with a little bit of vulnerability. You might feel a little bit weird. You might feel a little bit nervous about sharing certain things about yourself. When I was starting, before I had the fucking World of Warcraft tattoo, I was actually in the top 20 US World of Warcraft guild. I was like grinding, playing 12 hours a day. And I had to get comfortable with the fact that like, well, if I start dating this girl, she's going to know I play video games. So I better talk about it in the initial interaction. There's no reason not to. Now, I didn't talk about it like it was a bad thing. I talked about it like it was awesome, how I was really competitive and how it, taught me a lot of life lessons. And, a lot of people think it's weird, but I fucking love it. I just think it's so sick. I love like getting on, playing my warlock, playing my warrior, like grinding fucking Legion artifact power levels, like doing Mythic Plus dungeons, like all that shit. I love that shit. It's super fun. Or when I was playing Counter-Strike a lot, I love playing Counter-Strike. I love just popping heads, being a fucking, the sick op flick, just fucking destroying nerds, right? I love that shit. I love it. And that was something about me that I thought was really cool. And so I own that about myself. And you need to do the same thing, right? You need to really start accepting the parts of you that you really like and be really open about them. Don't filter anything. Don't filter anything about yourself because she's going to find these things out anyway. So you might as well get ahead of it and own that shit before she gets a chance to disqualify you. Because when she finds out these things, she's going to be like, why did he hide it from me? Is he not actually confident? He came up to me, he seemed confident, but he has all these things about him that he was not comfortable sharing. So you might as well just, if it comes up and if you see an opportunity, you should talk about the things you want to talk about in the interaction. And I'll show you how to use personal input in this conversation loop that I've talked about before with a visual aid at the end. Now, the second way to build a real connection is through breaking rapport. You break rapport or give her shit or challenge her because it builds camaraderie. It's not being a dick. It's not being rude, but taking risks in the interaction, saying things that you think are funny because you think they're funny and you're just giving her some shit. That builds a lot of comfort, actually, because that's how you talk to your friends. If you were going to talk to your friends, you wouldn't be really walking on eggshells, trying not to hurt their feelings. You would actually give her shit about that. So like the example I gave earlier, like, oh my God, you're like this fucking vegetable maniac. Like, what's going on here? Being able to say that and not be like, oh, is she going to think I'm weird because I said she's a maniac? Is she going to be offended? Bro, she's not going to be offended. Just use more extreme language and be okay with giving her shit and challenging her. I actually have a full video inside my program where I talk about 30 different teases that you can actually use, like 30 different lines, like being playfully disapproving, playfully disqualifying her, like, oh, see, this is why it wouldn't work between us. Those breaks in rapport build a lot of connection because it shows I'm not needy. I don't have a lot of fear of loss. If you walked away, I would actually be okay. Now, maybe I'd be disappointed because you're hot. Like, I'd be fine. I know I'd be okay. Now, if you're watching this and you're like, okay, this is all cool, but how do I actually sound interesting, right? I have my passions, I have my hobbies, but like, how do I actually say it in a way that makes it sound interesting? How do I say these things? Well, there's three main things that I learned from a mentor way back in the day. It was like one of the first courses I ever bought. I don't think you can even buy it anymore. But there's three pieces to it. There is paint pictures in the girl's head, write songs in her head, and talk about your feelings. I'm going to get into all of these right now. So when you talk about a story from your past, oh, that reminds me of when I went to Italy. You don't just say, oh yeah, I went to Italy and Rome and it was like cool, right? It's fucking boring. No, I went to Italy and the cobblestone like roads, I was like taking giant steps up and down and like my hips were getting all fucked up because of the roads, but like it was amazing. I went to the Colosseum and I just imagined all of the like gladiators like fighting fucking lions and shit. And it was insane that people would just gather in this huge arena that I was sitting in and like watch people fight to the death. It was fucking, it was such a crazy experience just even seeing that. That's how you paint a picture in her head. You talk about what it looked like. The way you write songs in her head is by talking about the sounds, the things that happened. Right? So I went on this hike and the birds were so loud. They were chirping like these like beautiful songs. And it was like out of a video game. It was like I was some man lost in nature. And I just felt the breeze on my skin. And I was just like, holy shit, this is one of the most magical places. I had like in the back of my mind, I was like imagining some fucking orchestra playing because it just felt so scenic when I got to the top of the summit. Right? Talking about how it sounded as well. Not just the visuals, but how it sounded. And another piece with writing songs in her head, the way you kind of think about it is rhythm and pacing of the interaction. right? If I want her to really pay attention to something, or I think something's really interested, if I want her to really pay attention to something, or I think something is very interesting, I'll say, okay, wait. So you're telling me that you do yoga? That is so crazy, right? It puts more emphasis on the things that I'm saying, and it brings her in. But if I get really excited about something and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be fucking sick. Like, hey, let's go over here. I'm going to talk fast and I'm going to try to lead. Those are just a few ways that you can mix up the cadence and the pitch of your voice. And when you want to create tension, you slow it down and you get very close to her. And you can make eye contact and use silence. These are very critical pieces of sounding more interesting. It's not really what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. And the things you're comfortable talking about, the way you're able to illustrate the stories in her head when you're talking. Now, talking about your feelings, okay? I'm not telling you to fucking have a therapy session with this girl. What I'm telling you to do is be okay with talking about things you're passionate about and say that you are passionate about it. Instead of, oh yeah, I like that thing. It's like, no, I fucking love this thing. These grapes you have, I fucking love them. I'm obsessed with these grapes. They taste so fucking good, right? That's so much more interesting because now she knows that I actually have a strong opinion about these things. The only way to create a lot of tension with a girl is by showing a lot of emotion, right? You have to show emotion to connect with people. You just do. You can't be this fucking robot. And the main thing is, like, honestly, guys, I know you watching this video, you're not worried about, oh my God, this girl's going to think I'm a fucking pussy because I'm talking about my feelings. You're just nervous to express yourself, which is normal. I've been like this for a long time. For most of our lives, we're like emotionally stunted and we're uncomfortable with talking about things we like. Like when you meet a girl, she's all bubbly. She's like, oh my God, do you love that? Oh, that's amazing. Oh my God, that makes me feel so happy. I'm so happy for you, right? She's like that because she's very comfortable with expressing how she feels, wearing her emotions on her sleeve. And that is a very important part of building a connection with a girl when you first meet her. So earlier in the video, I told you that I was going to show you how this actually works in practice. So we're going to go through an example of an interaction. I'm going to show you how you can branch off and make these interactions more interesting. Okay, so now we have this conversation loop. If you were going to go through this normally, what you would do is you would say, what do you do? She would say, I'm a nurse. What do you do? And then you would say, I'm an engineer, right? And that's how it would go. And it would probably be super boring and you'd end up in this constant loop. Now, I'm going to show you how you can break off of this loop right now. So first you go, oh, what do you do for work? She says, I'm a nurse. Now, immediately you can inject some personal input. So, oh, cool. My sister was a nurse, or I actually, even better, I dated a nurse in the past. Their schedules were crazy. Now she can, so this is personal input. Now what she can do is she can start talking about her work schedule. Now you can either loop it back to your answer for the question and talk about what you do, or you can just talk about like work schedules in general. And at any point, if she talks about her crazy work schedule, you could give her shit like, oh, see, how are we going to go on a first date if you're fucking working all the time? What is this? So now you're breaking off here and you're teasing. Now, this loop still is not closed. There's endless ways that you can do this. And then when you talk about work schedules, now you can talk about some trip you took for work. But then you can do all the things like paint pictures in her head, write songs in her head. You can talk about your feelings. You can do all of these things. And now you're in this conversation loop that just never ends. And at some point, she's going to be so interested, she's going to want to end this conversation loop and start another one. But if you just keep opening new loops, oh, that reminds me of this, that reminds me of this, then you end up in a place where the conversation never ends. This is one of the most powerful tactics for expanding your interactions and expanding your conversations. And what you can actually do is an exercise for this called the Talk Forever drill. I have my clients do this inside my programs. If you want to apply, there's a link down below in the description. But what you can do with this is you can set a timer for 5 minutes, 10 minutes on your phone, and you just talk for that 5 minutes straight. This is what it might look like. So I'm talking to my phone right now, and it makes me feel like kind of a crazy person. Speaking of that, The Nashville homeless people are fucking wild. Not as bad as LA, but you know, they have a bunch of crazy stuff out there, but probably not as bad. I feel like all the crazy people actually might be leaving. So maybe LA is actually like getting better. I actually talked to a buddy and he said that, yeah, it's a little crazy out there, but it's actually not as bad as it was for a while. But that reminds me of people that are kind of influency. I've influence-y. I don't really know how to say that. But speaking of other words that I don't know how to say, I used to not be able to say spaghetti. So I would say Pischetti, obviously, which reminds me of this episode of Bob's Burgers, which is a really good show on Hulu if you guys haven't watched it, where this guy, Teddy, he can't say lawnmower. He said Molaner the whole time, and he's trying the whole episode to say Molaner. But then he ends up saying it in like some crazy voice, which kind of funny. I can kind of do personal like impressions of people, but not whenever there's pressure. As soon as there's pressure, I just like totally crumble when there comes pressure to like do any sort of impression of someone. Like, you know, I could try to do a Trump and do this, and it's the best thing that I've ever seen, but I know it's already not as good as it is when I do it just like kind of offhand and I'm not asked to, because those are funny, right? But I can't do it when there's pressure. So which reminds me of actually like with performing under pressure, I want to try doing stand-up comedy at some point, because I think that would be like a really good way to push my comfort zone. And right now I'm kind of running out of things to say, but I'm not really, because I always have things that I can say, and I'm just kind of rambling at this point, and I'm just imagining the retention time just going down in this video. So we're going to wrap it up here soon. And that is what the exercise looks like. And if you talk for long enough, 5, 10, 15 minutes, you'll get lubed up to where you come up with enough stuff to say. And if you remember the core law here of emotional mirroring, women will feel how you feel. You can focus more on how you feel and not what you're saying. And all these tactics for how to paint pictures in her head, talk about your emotions, write songs in her head, those things will happen more naturally because you're just having fun with the interaction. If you want more videos like this, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you want to see next. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. If there's anything I learned from going from this guy who couldn't talk to girls without shaking to now a guy that's a lot more confident with women and has a lot better results in his dating life, a lot of times, especially when you're starting out, you have a lot more chances than you think with girls that you're attracted to. Women are actually a lot more attracted to you than you think, but you have to be able to read the signs. So in this video, I'm going to give you the 7 biggest signs that she is sexually attracted to you that you can escalate and move things forward in your interactions. So the first thing you want to look for is not just eye contact, but eye contact that lingers. Now you're going to have to practice actually making eye contact, right? If you're not making eye contact, she doesn't have the opportunity to make eye contact that really connects with you. But if she's holding eye contact with you very strongly, especially with silences and, you know, a lot of tension in the interaction, she is attracted to you. She is going to be into you for sure, no matter what. If she keeps looking away and breaking eye contact, but she keeps looking back and she keeps holding eye contact with you, especially for longer than a few seconds, she is attracted to you. And the only way to even see this is to practice actually holding eye contact. You have to practice it and practice locking in and just like looking at the girl. So if you're not normally good at holding eye contact, this is the only way you're going to be able to tell, is by looking into her eyes and seeing how long is she holding eye contact. Is she breaking eye contact a lot and not looking back? Is she looking around a lot? Or is she locked in with you, actually looking at you? The second sign that a girl is into you is if she's physically close to you. So she's within physical proximity of you. We don't put other things in front of us or by us that we don't want to be by. This could be even she stands by you, but she's not even looking at you. She's not even talking to you. She just finds a reason to come over and be next to you. Same thing with at the gym. If a girl comes over and kind of doesn't even think about it, but she's working out next to you, she follows you from machine to machine like once or twice, that is a very good sign that she is attracted to you and she's open to talk to you. A lot of these signs that women show for being attracted to you is they're very subtle and they're not very obvious. And so you want to make sure that you are focused on, can I interpret this interaction? Can I interpret this thing that she's doing, whether it's standing close to you, holding eye contact longer than you feel like is normal? If she's doing those things, chances are she's probably attracted to you. Another bonus tip for this is not just proximity, but if she aligns her hips towards you, if she literally faces her pelvis towards you, that is a very good sign that she is attracted to you, because it sounds so fucking cringe, but she's literally like facing her vagina towards you. Like, that's actually what's happening. And that is a very, very good sign. If she squares up to you, and also like if she crosses her feet while she's standing and talking to you, it means that she's not planning on leaving. Maybe we can throw a clip up of, you know, a third person perspective of a girl like crossing their feet when they're talking to me. It's a sign that she's not trying to leave. She's actually trying to stay in the interaction. Now, the third thing you want to look for if she's attracted to you is her touching you, finding a reason to touch you first. So playfully touching you on the arm, knee, shoulder, anywhere that she's kind of pushing you away, being playful, or even just like touching you, oh my God, you're so funny, and like putting her hand on you. To get to this point to where the girl's going to touch you first, either this is going to happen a lot at night, or you need to build a lot of emotional spikes into the interaction. She needs to be having a really fun time in the interaction. You're gonna have to build a lot of attraction here in order to get to this point, but this is a very obvious point that I think a lot of guys would be able to understand. The fourth sign that she is attracted to you is if she does things to play with her appearance or adjust her appearance. So this can be playing with her hair or adjusting her hair. It can be messing with her lip gloss, messing with her makeup, checking how she looks in her phone, those types of things. If she's looking at how she looks, if she's trying to pay attention to how she looks and she's subconsciously grooming herself, she is trying to look her best in that moment, which means that she cares how she looks, which is obviously a very good sign for you. The fifth sign that she likes you is if you make some sort of sexual joke and she laughs at it. So one thing that I really like to do is I like to misinterpret things that she says as if she is into me. So if she asks if I have any plans for the weekend, I'm going to act like she's about to ask me out on a date, and I'm going to give her shit about it. So I might say, well, you know, I have some plans, but like if you're asking me out on a date, maybe, I don't know. We'll have to figure out if we like each other. By saying that, I'm going to see her reaction, and if she's laughing at that, if she's giggling, if she's getting a little nervous when I'm being very cocky and she's reacting in that way, it's a very good sign that she likes you. If she's very reactive to you acting very cocky or confident, then it's a very, very, very good sign that she's sexually attracted to you. The sixth sign is when you touch her, how much of a green light does she give you? Does she lean into you when you give her a hug? Does she relax more when you touch her? Or is she very stiff? Does she stiffen up when you touch her? These are small things that you can read into the interaction and try to figure out, okay, how can I actually gauge how interested in me this girl is? And there's a lot of ways you can actually gauge this in terms of how to touch her. I actually talk about this a lot in my coaching programs where I have this red light, green light, yellow light system. A red light is when she doesn't give you any compliance. She doesn't move ahead with anything you do, or she stiffens up with something that you're trying to do. So if she gives you a yellow light, it's more like a neutral response. And obviously, like, that's a sign that you probably stay at the same level of escalation. But if she gives you a green light and you give her a hug and she leans into you, buries her face in your chest, if she's very touchy with you after that, that's a very, very good sign. The seventh sign that a girl is into you is if you try to move things forward or lead and she follows your lead. So for example, if I stop a girl on the streets and I say, hey, let's move over here for a second so I can hit on you. If I say that and then she moves with me, that's a very good sign that she is attracted to me. Okay, so I will do these little compliance tests throughout my interactions just to kind of feel out the vibe of where the girl is at and how into me she actually is. If you guys want me to make more content like this on signs that girls are into you or other questions that I can clarify, you know, how women think, how dating is actually easier now in 2025, especially if you're doing cold approach. It's a total cheat code. If you want me to make more videos about that, drop a comment down below and let me know what you want to see from me. You can also apply for coaching down in the description. There's an application to my coaching. You can watch a quick video before that, and then it'll take you to the application, and you can book a call with me personally to talk about my program. So click the link below to apply. If you don't want to buy anything, it's all good. I post very regularly every 3 days here on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. There are 10 brutal conversation mistakes that make most men very boring, where they get rejected, girls don't take them seriously, and they get locked in the friend zone forever. And these are mistakes I made in the past and had to correct if I wanted to go from this guy who couldn't talk to girls without shaking to now this guy that can go up to any woman that I want and approach very consistently and have very consistent dates whenever I want from cold approach. So if you want to go from reactions like this, I feel like you're following me. Oh. Okay. That's crazy. To reactions like this. Super random. I just saw your whole outfit and vibe, and I thought it was very cool.
Thank you so much.
So I figured I would come up and say hi.
Hi.
Yeah,
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. What's the accent? Then you're going to want to watch this video. The first mistake that most guys make is expecting too much from the girl to carry the conversation when they approach. At the end of the day, when you are approaching her. It's not the other way around. Women will have a firewall response, and that should be expected. You should expect a firewall response to happen. You will need to spike her emotions enough to get her in the mood to engage in more conversation with you. If you have these conversations that go 1-2 minutes and nothing really moves forward, it's because you need to spike emotions and take the lead emotionally with the conversation. And one way to fix this is actually just by talking about stuff you want to talk about. I met this girl in the lobby at my apartment complex, and we were standing by like the kiosk, and they have like these coolers with energy drinks, and they can, you know, you can buy them. And what I ended up saying that blew the conversation more wide open was I just got really passionate about how the prices on some of these are fucking crazy. Like some of the ice creams are like $10, but then the energy drinks are like $2.50, like less than you would charge at a gas station. And I just always think that's like super fucking weird at my apartment. Like, I don't know why it's like that. And that was something that I was passionate about, and I was able to show some emotional range by talking about something that I'm genuinely passionate about or have a strong opinion on. The next thing that's an obvious mistake that I think a lot of you guys know you're making is playing it too safe with interview mode. Just asking rapid fire questions with no emotion, no personal stakes in the conversation, no personal input in the conversation. It makes her feel like she's filling out a survey. It's not a very fun thing to do. So if a guy's going to come up to you, interrupt your day, if you want to break out of your boring day-to-day life, you don't want to go through a fucking job interview. So one way that you can fix this, the rapid fire question thing, is replace every other question that you ask with a statement. So instead of, oh, how tall are you? You could say, oh, you're short. Just make an observation about her, or make a cold read, make an assumption about her based on something that you noticed about her appearance. The third mistake is just over-explaining and justifying yourself. If you're explaining too much about yourself or why you're cool, you've already lost at that point. There's a big difference between saying something like, I'm actually really funny once you get to know me, and having like a please approve of me type of vibe about you, and being able to display value in kind of a cocky and funny way. One thing I like to do is I actually will say like, yeah, I'm very cool, smart, I'm intelligent. I'm also very humble. And by balancing out the bragging with a joke, kind of making fun of myself for having a big ego, it opens the girl up a lot more, and you can still display a lot of value without showing that you're looking for her approval. The fourth mistake that guys make is never showing any intent within the first 5 minutes of the conversation. If she has to guess if you are trying to be her friend versus flirting with her or hitting on her, then you are already in the friend zone. So one thing that I like to do here that you can easily implement is use what's called a throwaway compliment. So an example of this would be me saying, oh, you have really pretty eyes, by the way, and then move on immediately to talk about your dog or whatever the fuck is going on in your life. Just move on very quickly where you're not waiting for a reaction. The fifth mistake that most guys make is agreeing with everything that the girl says. You don't have to disagree just for the sake of disagreeing, but there are going to be things that you actually disagree with. If she says she likes sushi and you don't like sushi, be like, ugh, raw fish is fucking gross to me. And then you just move on very quickly. You don't have to sit and debate with her on the merits of whether or not it's good to like sushi, but disagreeing and stating your opinion in a bold, unapologetic way is very, very good. But remember, do not get caught in this trap of debate. You're not there to debate her and win her over and prove that you know what's best or that your opinion is right. You're just there to show her that you're not a puppy dog that's going to go on with whatever she says. The sixth mistake that guys make is no emotional range. So you have a flat tone, poker face, zero emotional spikes, zero energy. And that creates zero chemistry. If you're just talking to a girl like this and keeping it very, playing it safe, that's very hard. So I like to talk about things that I want to talk about. So if I want to talk about some nerdy shit that I'm into at the time, I will talk about it. If I want to talk about my dating business, I'm going to talk about that shit because I'm passionate about social dynamics, dating dynamics, talking to women, all of this kind of nerdy shit that I'm into. That kind of stuff gets me riled up and makes me feel on fire. So if that is for you, some podcasts you listen to that were talking about like health stuff or whatever, you can talk about that. But a lot of guys will talk about what they think is normal And that's not actually attractive. You want to talk about things that you genuinely want to talk about. So if that's fucking Pokemon, bro, talk about Pokemon a little bit. Be like, yeah, honestly, I love Pokemon. I've always loved it since I was a kid. And if it makes you smile when you talk about it, that's a good sign that it's something you should be talking about and injecting into your interactions. The 7th brutal mistake that guys make is validation fishing. Okay, waiting to see what her reaction is going to be when you make a joke or you show intent. So an example of that would be like me saying, oh, you're really pretty. And like waiting for the reaction, waiting for what she's going to say. The way you fix this is by finding things that you think are fun to talk about. So going back on my last example, talking about things that you think are funny, things that you think are fun to inject into the interaction. And some of this is going to take some trial and error. Looking at like a lot of these POV guys, there's a lot of guys on Instagram and TikTok, guys on social media that post like the POV stuff. I do a lot of that stuff as well. And finding lines or openers or things that you like to say in the interaction that you think are funny that fire you up. So a few examples that I like to do is I like to just show a lot of intent up front because I think it's really fun to be over the top. So if I open a girl and I'm like, hey, excuse me, I love you, let's get married. I will say that, and I'll say it super over the top. And from my experience, it's not the fact that I'm showing intent up front. Being direct is technically like not as good of game, but it's the vibe that I bring into the interaction that I'm focused on my own fun. And I said this because I think it'd be funny to say to a random girl, not because I think it's going to work on her. I also like if a girl says something that is kind of like giving me shit about something, I'll make a joke where I say like, oh, I'm going to kill myself. And I think it's so funny. Like I every time I do it, because it's so out of pocket, I think it's so funny to do. So you can find these kind of out of pocket things to say in the interaction that boost your own state. One opener that I like that just boosts my own state that I've been using lately is, what's your favorite Pokemon? I just be like, hey, excuse me, favorite Pokemon, go, what is it? And it starts a conversation, and I think it's funny. I'm not even really that into Pokemon. I haven't seen the show in like 10 years. I never collected the cards, but I think it's like a funny thing to be able to like open with, you know, I just think it's funny. And so because of that, I'm focused on my own state, my own good time. She's going to pick up on that. The law of emotional mirroring that I talk about in this channel, she's going to pick up on my vibe, and she's going to feel like, oh, okay, it would be better for me to break out of my normal gray autopilot day and talk to this guy because he's having fun and I want to have fun too. That's going to be much more attractive and make her, you know, extend the conversation and open up a lot more and break through that firewall response that most girls will give when you do approach. The 8th mistake that guys make is reacting to every single little thing that she says, whether it's over laughing, over smiling, overreacting to get approval, like, oh, that's really cool. One example of this is after everything she says, oh, nice, oh, that's cool, right? For everything she says, it completely takes out all of the authenticity, and it takes away all the value of you giving her validation later. If you're just everything she says, oh, cool, yeah, I agree, that's awesome, that's awesome, that's awesome, it just comes off like you don't actually have an opinion and you're just saying that to please her. Another example where this shows up is needing to answer every single part of what she just said. So if she talks about 3 different things in the sentence, she talks about what she does for work, where she's from, and she mentions that she has a dog, like going into every single thing and logically answering, it keeps the conversation on such a logical track rather than just picking one thing that you want to talk about, letting go of logic and moving the conversation towards things that you want to talk about, or spiking emotions through flirting and teasing with the girl, which I have other videos on this channel on how to do. Another thing you can do to kind of fix this is misinterpret things that she says as if she's hitting on you or showing intent to you. So if she says she doesn't like coffee, you could be like, oh yeah, I'm not a fan of coffee dates either, so I guess we're doing drinks, right? You could make that assumption that you're talking about going on a date with her. Those things, obviously when you say it in not a fucking teaching tone, because I'm in my fucking coaching mode right now, but when you say that in like a fun, relaxed way, where you're saying it to move the conversation forward and to be bold as fuck and be very sure of yourself, that is very attractive. So you want to try to inject as much of that into the interaction as possible. The 9th mistake that guys make that's really brutal and never good is playing it very safe for the entire interaction. If you avoid taking risks in the interaction, you'll never actually trigger attraction and spike her emotions. Women are fueled by, you know, what they find attractive is fueled by emotions, how they feel around you, and not just how they feel, if they feel good or bad, but the variety of emotions that they feel. So you want to create an emotional roller coaster when you talk to the girl. So some examples of risks that you can actually take in the interaction is, one, if she disagrees with you on something or you disagree with her, you can say, oh, see, this is why it would never work between us. Or if she says she's from a place that you've been to and you didn't really like it, oh, well, it was nice to meet you, and pretend like you're gonna walk away. Another thing that I don't talk as much about on this channel, but I think it's really helpful, is the cocky funny mindset, or the cocky funny attitude. So cocky plus funny basically just looks like me saying, and I actually said this to a girl at the gym maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it worked out really well, where I just will make this joke like, yeah, honestly, like women, they kind of follow me around all the time, and it's just, I get approached all the time just because I'm so good looking and so charming, and I'm glad you're being cool right now. You're not like making it a big deal, putting me on a pedestal. And when I do that, it shows that, one, I'm confident in myself, but it also shows that like I'm not taking myself so seriously, because I'm willing to be super cocky and say this kind of stuff in kind of a sarcastic way. The 10th and most brutal mistake that guys make is they self-reject and they let the conversation die without leading. Now, the thing is, pauses will happen, but if you want to lead the conversation, you need to continue the conversation even if there is an awkward silence. What I like to do is remember that awkward is a mindset. Something being awkward takes 2 people to make it awkward. So a couple things that I like to do, I'll do this on dates especially, or if I'm at night game, but I like doing this during the day as well, is when there's an awkward silence or I can't think of anything to say, I'll just be like, so, and I'll do like this really drawn out, like kind of awkward thing. And it kind of breaks the tension. It breaks the awkwardness that was starting to build up. So I really like to do that. And you obviously have to move on with something fun. And I think the reason that works out so well is because I think it's funny. And so by making it more awkward, it boosts my state, and then I'm less in my head. Another one that I think is really funny is like that meme where you're like, are we about to kiss right now?
Are we about to kiss right now?
And you like say it like that while you're looking at her. And honestly, the earlier on in the interaction you say it, especially if you're not leaning in to kiss her or do anything like that, it comes off clearly as a joke and like very sarcastic. And that breaks a lot of tension. So if you want to go more in depth with me and see how I can help you build out a better dating life for yourself, there's an application down in the description that you can fill out to work with me personally. All you have to do is watch the video before the application, and then you fill out the application and someone on my team will contact you. Most likely me. I run all of these discovery calls myself, so you get a chance to talk to me personally, and then we'll see if it's a good fit. And if it is a good fit, we can talk about what next steps look like and how I can actually help you with my various different coaching programs. Thank you for watching the video. If you like more of this, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you want me to cover in the future, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. If you clicked on this video, it's probably because women don't take you seriously because you're just too nice. Women want to be friends with you, but they never want to date you. And I used to be that guy too. Women didn't take me seriously. It continually led me to getting lost in the sauce because I was just too nice, chasing validation from girls that never even showed any interest back, and would just give me enough to make me feel like I had a little bit of hope, but never actually ended up dating me. And in this video, I'm going to show you where being too nice comes from so you can deal with it yourself. And I'm going to give you a practical guide that you can use in your own life to never have this problem again. The first thing you have to understand about being too nice and where it comes from is that being too nice is actually just a very nice word for not authentically being yourself. You're attracted to a girl, so you agree with everything she says rather than teasing her and flirting. You really like this girl, so you treat her differently than every other girl that you talk to. And you feel like you have to do something special and perform to make her like you rather than actually being the most authentic and badass version of yourself. And every single guy watching this video, including you, has the ability to stop being too nice and start changing how seriously women take you so that you can build lots of attraction up front very quickly. But you need to know these pieces of advice that I'm going to give you in this video. The main core problem here is that being too nice, being nice to a girl creates no tension, creates no polarized dynamic, and it's too predictable. If you say yes and agree with everything the girl says, or you just compliment her and every emotion the girl feels is just positive, especially when it's coming from a place of inauthenticity, then women will never be able to trust you. They will never take you seriously. Women crave a man who leads them, challenges them, and spikes their emotions. Women just want to feel emotions, and this is the biggest shift that I ever had to make when I was 19, 20, I couldn't talk to girls without shaking, is realizing that any emotion, if it's strong, is good when it comes to building attraction. Women need to feel something when they talk to you. So like in my own life, when I was in college, there was this girl that was also a freshman in college, and I really liked her and we were friends, and I was like really just obsessed with getting her validation, and I would show interest and I would flirt with her and I would be really nice, but I wouldn't tease her. I never pushed her away. I never challenged her. And this made it feel like I was always the one chasing, and she never had any room to feel any emotions other than just good feelings. And if a woman just feels good feelings around you, she will view you as a friend. There is this concept that I like to talk about called the platonic blindfold. And this is going to totally change your life. When you realize that women are not like men in the sense that women see a guy and they immediately see a friend. They don't see, oh, this is a Giga Chad that I want to date. They don't see that. What they see is they see a person that they view as a friend first, and you need to take off that platonic blindfold for them so they can even see you as an option. And the way you do this is through emotional spikes and teasing. So this can be something as simple as she says she likes rap music, or she says she likes sushi, and you're like, oh my God, I fucking hate sushi. And it has to be something that's truly authentic to you. But genuinely being able to disagree and have strong opinions on things is the first actual practical step to breaking this platonic barrier with the girl that you're talking to. So if you ever have a girl in your life where you're just friends and you want to be more than friends, don't start by showing interest and confessing your love to her. Start by disagreeing with her. Start by saying, oh my God, I fucking hate that. That's ridiculous. And standing on that. And when you disagree with her, you will immediately see that she will light up at the first sign of a guy that has a backbone, because she doesn't see you like that right now. And this is the biggest issue. I see so many guys, including myself whenever I was learning this stuff, that just care about getting positive reactions from the girl, because it makes sense. If she's always positive towards you, then obviously that's a good thing. It means she might like me. It means that I have a chance. But it doesn't actually mean that. All that it means is that she likes you as a friend, and she wants to be around you as a friend, and you give her good emotions, and that is a consistent form of good emotions, and she doesn't want to mess with that, so she's never going to want to date you. But if you're the type of guy that is not afraid to offend her and is okay with disagreeing or giving her shit about something, or saying, oh my God, I can't believe you like that, you're such a fucking dork. If you can say that to a girl without fear of loss, without fear that she's going to walk away, then it's going to be so much easier to spike attraction with this girl. What you need to shift from is from approval seeking to bold, authentic, and real standards that you have for yourself. So what I would suggest doing is I would write down things that you have strong opinions on. Just start with 10 things that you have very strong opinions on. And instead of saying, oh, I like this thing, I love this thing. I love video games. I love that movie. I fucking hate that movie. It's so shit. It's awful. Having strong opinions is the easiest way to become a guy that is not too nice. And it might feel really bad because you're not used to creating tension when you talk to a woman or when you talk to a girl that you're attracted to. But I promise you, once you can start disagreeing and having strong opinions about things, this is the first step in not being too nice and creating tension. And if some girls don't like you because of that, if some people don't like you because of that, that is actually a good thing. You don't want everyone to like you. That is a guy that girls don't like, okay? You want most people to really like you because you're authentic, you're yourself, but some people should really not like you. Like, there are people that genuinely think I'm a fucking piece of shit because of what I teach online. Like, I teach guys how to build confidence, and I coach guys, and guys pay me thousands of dollars to teach them how to talk to women and get better at the skill of attraction. And some people think that's super weird. But I'm very proud of it, and I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, yeah, it is kind of weird. I can see where you're coming from, and maybe you are right. I've thought about this shit. Anything that you have a strong opinion on, you've probably thought about. So it's okay to state that strong opinion. And if you end up wanting to change your opinion, that's also fine. It doesn't make you a beta. It doesn't make you a fucking loser. You just are a guy that's willing to go with what's right, and you're willing to go with the truth. And so if you find out, oh, wait, maybe because now I'm expressing my opinion on something, I realize I'm actually not right, and what I thought before was super cringe and lame, and I don't really agree with that, then you're actually going to be at a point where you can change and grow. And that's how you can get even stronger opinions in the future, because you get challenged on them and then you change what your thought process is. And you're like, oh shit, okay, I actually believe this and this and this. So what are some practical things outside of having stronger opinions that you can actually do? Some real life examples. The first thing that you can do is start saying what you actually think. So look for opportunities in interactions to disagree and state your opinion. Don't disagree with things that you don't disagree with, but look for opportunities to state your opinion, even if it's as simple as someone's talking about something, you're like, oh yeah, I actually disagree with that. Even if it's just that and you don't expand on it, that is okay. That's how I started, right? Being able to say, oh yeah, I actually don't think that. I actually think this. And then you move on from it. It's not really that big of a deal. The next practical step is being willing to walk away. One very practical tip that I give my clients inside my coaching program, if you want to apply, the link's down in the description. One practical tip I give them is I tell them to playfully act like they're going to walk away from the girl when they approach. So the girl says, oh, I'm from Toronto. Oh my God, another girl from Toronto? All right, well, it was nice to meet you. And pretend like you're going to walk away. And this might feel really scary. It might feel really hard and it might feel rude. But I promise you, playfully taking away and playfully walking away is actually a very strong emotional spike. It's going to feel very fucking foreign to you. It's going to feel very, very foreign. It's going to be really weird to set boundaries and be okay with walking away, be okay with offending her. But it's a very, very good way to build attraction with the girl. The third piece of practical advice is to tease and be playful with her and challenge her on things. So a few things I really like to say is during the interaction, see, this is why it would never work between us. Like, we're just too different. Being able to say things that challenge her or disqualify her from being able to date you, especially when you haven't shown a ton of intent and you say, hey, yeah, I don't know if this is going to work out between us. I don't know. We're going to have to see after the first date. This might not work. By being able to say that, one, you're acknowledging that it might not work and you're okay with that. So it's showing that you're willing to walk away and you're willing to not get her, which shows no fear of loss, and it's very, very attractive. But the second thing is that it also helps with establishing that you have standards and you have boundaries and you're going to be yourself even if she doesn't like what you have to say. The third piece of practical advice here is to put your purpose first, not validation. So your purpose right now, if you're watching this channel a lot, might be to get better with women and get better at socializing. So sticking it in the interaction, even if it's not going well, just because it makes you anxious and makes you uncomfortable and you want to get more comfortable in interactions with girls, that's actually putting your purpose first. The same thing with going up and talking to this group of 6 girls. It's not chasing validation from the girls. You're going up to them because it makes you uncomfortable and it's pushing your comfort zone. And that is what matters the most. If your purpose at that moment is, I got to get back to my workout, then you can cut the interaction at the gym short and you can be like, hey, I got to get back to my workout. It was nice meeting you. Have a good day, right? Or, hey, let me grab your number. I got to get back to my workout. And you're just focused on what you need to do in that interaction. And this comes down to being able to disagree with her as well. If you have values and standards or things that you genuinely think, being able to express that opinion and be like, no, I actually think this, even if you're afraid she's going to walk away, that shows that you put your purpose and your values and what you care about first over her validation, which is the most important thing. Being too nice fundamentally comes down to you chasing validation from the girl, and I want positive reactions from the girl at all costs. I'm willing to sacrifice my values. I'm willing to sacrifice how she views me. I'm willing to sacrifice everything that I say in order to just say, oh, I got validation from this girl. And one, that's not going to make you feel good about yourself. But two, she's not going to respect that either. She's not going to be attracted to a guy that is willing to sacrifice everything that he believes in order to get her to like him. So if you find yourself saying, oh yeah, that's cool. Oh, that's awesome. After everything she says, and you're just reacting, trying to put on a show to get her to stay in the interaction with you rather than having a grounded, entitled mindset of, I'm the shit. I like myself. She's going to stay in the interaction because I'm awesome. If you are performing for the girl and you're reacting heavily to everything she says, that is going to be very unattractive. It's going to be a turnoff, and she might want to hang out with you, but just as friends. So at the end of the day, the message that I have for all of the nice guys watching this video right now is I want you to be more true to who you are and not the results that you are getting. I know it sounds counterintuitive. It sounds counterintuitive because if the girl doesn't like you, then that means you're not doing something right. But I promise you, girls can be like, oh, this guy's kind of a dick. Oh, I don't know how I feel about this guy. That is better than her being like, oh yeah, he's a really good guy. Oh, he's really great. I like this guy. that's not going to turn her on. That's not going to get her attracted, because ultimately, if you can't disagree with her, if you can't stand up for yourself with her, and you care too much about what she thinks, how is she going to feel safe with you? How is she going to feel like you can handle any of these situations? Whether this is an awkward situation in public, being able to stick in an interaction when you're nervous, or just being able to disagree with her on something simple that doesn't really matter. You can date a girl where one of you likes sushi and one of you doesn't. You go to the sushi restaurant, she gets her sushi, and you get your fucking fried rice or whatever. It is okay to disagree with the girl. These things are not deal breakers, especially when you feel really strongly about these things. So just to wrap up, guys, state your opinion on things and don't back down from them. And if you end up changing your position, that's okay. That's fine. But always stand up for what you believe and what you think. Be bold, real, and authentic. And if she doesn't want to date you because of that, awesome. There's other girls that do. And I promise you, if you are the most bold, authentic, real version of yourself that doesn't back down when things get awkward or tension comes up, and you can deal with some awkward silences, you can deal with not knowing if she likes you, not being able to read her, if you can deal with a little bit of lack of validation up front, I promise you, women will turn into this very feminine, soft, loving kind of vibe around you, and they will be so much more attracted to you and so much more likely to chase. All right, if you like videos like this and you're a nice guy, or you're an overthinker, or you're someone that struggles with attracting the women that you really want to attract, you can apply for coaching with the link down in the description. If you want more videos like this, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified when I post a video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Attraction is not just about money and looks. There's a secret emotional switch inside of every girl's mind that you need to flip in order to get her to be attracted to you. And there's a way to do it very consistently. So instead of relying on luck and just chancing into flipping the switch for a girl that you're talking to that, oh boy, I hope she likes me, I actually made a very proven method called the brain switch method that will help you flip that emotional switch every single time using proven attraction triggers to spike emotions in the girl. I used to be a guy that really struggled with sparking attraction in girls. Girls didn't take me seriously. I literally couldn't talk to girls without shaking. And after 10 plus years of approaching very consistently, going from this guy who was too shy to talk to girls without shaking, to this guy who didn't really know how to hold frame in a relationship, to now a guy that posts videos online for hundreds of thousands of guys to see, of me actually approaching girls in real life and getting real results, I feel like I can confidently talk about this. So trigger number one of the brain switch method is taking risks in the interaction. There are a couple ways that you can do this. First, you can state your opinion without apologizing or hedging. A lot of guys will have opinions on things, but they state them in such this soft, like pussified way. So for example, if a girl says she likes sushi and you don't like sushi, you're too scared to say, I fucking hate sushi. So you say, oh yeah, I'm not really that big of a fan of sushi. I don't really know. I've had it a couple times. Instead of just saying what you fucking mean by saying, yeah, I fucking hate sushi. I cannot stand that shit. I don't know how you eat it. Being able to say that and hold eye contact and be okay with stating your opinion and not worrying about, oh my God, if my opinions on sushi, my opinions on raw fish make her walk away, what am I going to do? It shows a lot more confidence in yourself. And that triggers the emotional switch inside of her brain to say, okay, I should take this guy seriously because he's actually confident and actually has opinions. He's not going to bullshit me just to get me to like him. Another way to use this risk-taking emotional trigger is by making jokes that might offend her. So one really common thing is when I'm talking about what I do for work with women, a lot of them will be like, oh, is that like weird kind of red pill shit? And I'll make the joke, yeah, no, I actually hate women. And I'll say it, I'll be smiling, I'll say it in a sarcastic way, but I'm holding eye contact the whole fucking time. I'm not worried about, oh my God, is she going to think I'm actually a misogynistic piece of shit? I just make the fucking joke. And if she's like, wait, seriously? Like, no, I'm fucking with you, right? And I can confidently do that, and I'm willing to take risks and say things that allow her to walk away. So before I get into the other two emotional triggers for this video, I need you guys to understand why most guys actually fail at this. Most of you, when you approach or when you talk to a girl that you really like, you fall back into logic because that's your safe place. You're too reactive and you're too focused on her and not your own good time. You have to focus when you talk to women, and this completely blew my mind when I first learned it, but there's this law of emotional mirroring. Women will feel exactly how you feel. And so if you're focused more on her and her emotional state, you're now in a feminine reactive mode, And that makes you much less attractive, and it makes it possible to trigger that emotional switch and actually make that brain switch for her so she can start thinking about you as an option. I promise you guys, if you actually feel alive and feel like you're having fun in the interaction, then she is going to feel that too. And you can even take personal experience from this. I want you to ask yourself, when was the last time you actually met somebody that you felt like is truly feeling alive, living his life, having fun when he's going out and talking to people, right? It's pretty rare you meet people that are genuinely just focused on making sure he's having a good time and everyone else is having a good time around him. This guy is usually the life of the party, not always, but he's usually the life of the party, and people want to be around him. People invite him to stuff because they want him to be there to help everyone else have fun. I have a friend that's like this named Chris. Chris is the shit, dude. He's like always having a good time. He's always stating his opinion, and he just doesn't give a fuck. And these guys are so good to have around because they're just focused on having fun, and they want other people to have fun from a very genuine place as well. And if you have this vibe going into the interaction, then she's going to be so much more attracted, and she's going to want to stick around. Women don't want to go through their boring normal day just to get interrupted by another guy going through his boring normal day and not having any fun with his interactions. That's just not what it is. Yeah, sure, if you're like a high value guy, whatever, it can be good sometimes, and you can get some dates through just having logical, normal, boring conversation that's kind of polite and nice. But if you're an average guy that doesn't have, a ton of massive advantages like super good looks, or, you have access to a lot of resources like money and taking her to nice places, then it's going to be pretty tough to trigger that emotional response if you're from this logical place. Women will always feel how you feel. I cannot say it enough. Women will feel how you feel. She will feel if you're having fun. She will feel if you have an agenda. She will feel if you're worried about her opinion of you. And any of these things will basically turn off this brain switch for her for good. You're in the friend zone, you're fucked, and you're done. And you're going to have to do a lot of work to get out of that by spiking even more emotions. And that might even make you lose the girl because you're too heavy on the emotional spikes. But it's the only way you can save it. So to explain this brain switch method in more detail, what you need to understand is that women feel attraction when they feel emotions, not when they feel good emotions, not when they feel bad emotions, but when they feel a wide variety of emotion. So when you go into an interaction with a girl, you need to understand that emotions in general are good, which I know is like uncomfortable for a lot of guys. It's very hard. I was really emotionally stunted kind of growing up, and I didn't really know how to talk about how I feel about stuff. And I still even get a little weird talking more about like my feelings and things like that. But when you can get comfortable talking about how things make you feel, whether it's positive or like, oh my God, I fucking hate that. When you can be more emotionally expressive, not emotionally reactive, but emotionally expressive, that unlocks that brain switch for her to flip that. And now it's possible for her to see you as an option. So from now on, when you talk to a girl, what I want you to do is I want you to think, how can I trigger emotions in general with this girl? Not just how can I trigger good emotions. Oh man, that was a really good conversation. Doesn't matter if it was good. I would argue if it's positive the whole time and there's no takeaway or emotional strip that happens there, you don't take away some validation or make her kind of question things. If she's not walking away from the conversation like, what the fuck was that? Then it's a lot less likely to lead to a date. If she walks away going, oh, that was nice, that was pleasant, that was fun, it's going to be okay and you'll get some dates from that. But in general, if you have a wider variety of emotions, which I'm going to show you how to do in the rest of the video, you will have a lot more solid phone numbers and a lot more solid results that will actually lead to a date with the girl, which is ultimately like, that's what we want. We want to have options so we can pick the girl that we actually want in our life. So emotional trigger number 2, teasing and playful banter. I'm going to give you some very practical examples that you can literally steal. These are directly from my coaching programs. I'm not hiding anything in this video. I want to give you the best of the best sauce so that you know that this shit works and that honestly, probably you want to pay me, right? Like if I can help you implement these things over YouTube, then chances are if we work together in person or we work together online, that's actually going to help you a whole lot more because you'll have accountability, you'll have actual coaching. So emotional trigger number 2 is playful banter and teasing. I'm going to give you 2 examples of what that looks like that you can actually steal. I'm going to give you a mindset that you can implement into your everyday life so you can start to actually learn this stuff. Line number 1 is, this is why it wouldn't work between us. So go back to the sushi example before. She likes sushi. You don't like sushi. See, this is why it wouldn't work between us. You like raw fish too much. I can't do it. I don't know about this. You're going to have to really make up for that. Being able to tease her and push her away in a confident way, holding eye contact, right? Holding eye contact is very fucking important, okay? Being able to hold eye contact after you tease her, after you take this risk, not waiting for a reaction like, what are you going to say? And like acting nervous, but saying it, holding your ground, remaining calm. See, this is why it wouldn't work between us. And holding the eye contact, you're going to feel the tension, but you want to hold it because it shows that you're actually confident and you're not afraid she's going to walk away. This eliminates all fear of loss, which is one of the most unattractive behaviors. It's going to turn off that brain switch for her. The second line is, you're cute, but I'm just not sure about you yet. When you say this, you want to remember, hold eye contact. When you say this, it shows you're not afraid to show some intent, but you're also not afraid of her walking away because you're disqualifying her a bit. And you can also see how it creates a bit of an up and down, right? A bit of a push and pull. Positive emotion, you're cute, but, and it takes it away. And now she's like, oh, he's not sure about me. Now you have to deliver this in an authentic way. It can't be like, you're cute, but I'm not sure about you. I'm so fucking sick with my line. It's like, that's a little weird, right? It's going to come off like you want a reaction. And that's just going to be unattractive. So one mindset that I really like for these kinds of teases is a cocky plus funny mindset. All right. So first of all, acting overly cocky for me and for a lot of my clients, it's actually really fun, especially if you're the type of guy that's always really nice and it's hard for you to be cocky. It's like you're putting on an alter ego and you're just like having fun with it, which ultimately will trigger that law of emotional mirroring. She can tell that you're having fun by being cocky in the interaction and acting as if she's attracted to you and assuming a lot of attraction. So if you act like she's in love with you, first, it's going to be fun, right? And so it's going to make it so much easier for you to trigger that emotional mirroring law. But also when you trigger that fun within yourself and you're actually having fun with the interaction, it doesn't come off douchey. It doesn't come off super try hard and like you're trying to qualify to her, which is ultimately the unattractive part of being cocky. If you're cocky from a place of being fun, then that's very powerful. So I'll give you an example of this cocky, funny attitude in emotional trigger number 3. Emotional trigger number 3 is to stay unreactive when there's pressure or when she shit tests you. Let's say you say something over the top and cocky, like, yeah, so when we get married, we're gonna have like some crazy kids. And she's like, oh, you're pretty cocky, huh? Right? That's like a very common shit test if you go in with this cocky, funny attitude. The way I would probably handle that by remaining unreactive, and I say this a lot, is, yeah, no, I'm like super full of myself. And I just stop. And I let there be silence, and I sit in attention. And immediately, you'll see her get giggly, start, oh my God, she gets a little nervous. That is what attraction looks like. It doesn't look like her smiling and having a great time the whole time. It looks like her having a nervous response. A positive nervous response, but still a nervous response and holding that tension. I'd be lying to you if I told you that this is going to be something that overnight fixes everything and you're never going to get stuck in the friend zone again. But if you consistently practice this, you will start to see this emotional brain switch flip inside the girl. Girls will start getting bubbly, nervous talking to you. They'll start giggling and start treating you in this very soft, feminine way. And that's how you know it's working. So if you implement this daily, women will respond differently to you. Now, if you want to skip all the trial and error and get real life examples from me, get live coaching in the field on a call. If you want to get one-on-one coaching every single week with me, there's a link in the description or the pinned comment on this video, and you can apply to work inside my Attraction Accelerator system. This is not for everybody, but I do have offers for everybody in every budget, whether it's free content, my community group, or one-on-one personal coaching, or even like my highest ticket premium coaching where I do in-person coaching here in Nashville, Tennessee. All right. So click links below if you want more help from me. If not, enjoy the videos, comment below, let me know what you want to see in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. In my early 20s, I was a guy that could never approach women. I couldn't even talk to girls without shaking when I was interested in them. And so I decided to go on a mission to approach as many women as I possibly could and crush that approach anxiety forever. I was tired of living life on the sidelines, feeling like I was a spectator in my own life. And there are 10 main learning lessons that I took away from making over 2,500 approaches in my entire life and socializing with thousands of people, and now being a guy that literally teaches guys how to approach and how to do it in a way that actually gets results. And I'm going to give you those lessons in this video. The first lesson is that hesitation kills your soul so much more than just getting rejected. Every single time I would go out and I would try to approach, when I would get rejected, I actually felt a weight off my shoulders. I felt like I didn't need to prove anything anymore. I actually went up and I saw the girl, I wanted to talk to her, and I went for it. And it actually made me feel good about myself. And it was this mindset that I instilled into myself early on in life, that when you get rejected, it might suck, it might sting, but it feels so much better to go for what you want and to try rather than hesitate, sit around, and not take action. And this even applies whenever you pass a girl on the street and you want to talk to her, but you have to go back and approach her anyway. I would have a lot of times, and I've even done this a lot recently, where I'll pass a girl and I'll be like, oh, I should approach her. And then there's that little voice in my head that for a long time would be like, well, it's too late now. You ruined it. You can't go for it. But now that little voice, I've changed that little voice in my head to be like, no, you can still do it. Go for it. It'd be epic if you did. It'd be funny if you did. It'd be cool if you did. And when you have that mindset of, even though I passed this opportunity, even though I missed the opportunity, I can make up for it and I can feel good about myself on the other side, that's a total superpower. So if you can shift away from running away from the pain of rejection and shift towards running away from the pain of hesitation, not feeling good about yourself, not going for what you want, that's a way better mindset shift. Even though it's kind of coming from a negative place still, it's still really helpful. The second lesson that I learned is that attraction is a lot more about energy and being congruent with who you are than it is about what you say or the lines that you have. I would go out with all these pickup lines and none of them would work. But then one day I made an approach to a girl. I was feeling kind of awkward and I read online that, hey, you should try to just be yourself as much as possible and just express a little bit of vulnerability, but still in a confident way. So I was talking to her and I said, yeah, I'm like a little awkward. I'm kind of shy. I don't really do this a lot. And because that was true, because there was alignment there, I saw her eyes light up. This girl completely lit up at the fact that I was willing to go up and approach her and have balls, but still own the fact that I'm a little nervous. And if you're starting this journey, and you can realize that just owning where you're at and being comfortable with where you're at, not trying to fake being some epic red pill alpha male, because pre-selection and women like guys that can approach and talk to tons of girls and get laid all the time. Yeah, guys with experience are more attractive. But if you don't have a lot of experience, just owning the fact that you don't have a lot of experience is much better. And it comes off actually a lot more confident. It takes a lot of confidence to be humble and to realize where you're at. The third lesson that I learned on this journey of approaching over 2,500 women is that consistency beats guys that are naturally good with women. At this point, after making hundreds and thousands of approaches, my baseline for being attractive to women is way higher than most guys that are kind of naturally talented. And not only that, but I'm also able to understand why I'm not getting the results that I want if I find myself in a dry spell. A lot of guys go through periods of life where they don't even know what's happening. I was not smooth. I was not super charismatic growing up. I still get stuck in my head. I still am kind of awkward sometimes, but at least I understand where I'm going wrong. And when I started stacking consistent actions of going out and trying to push my comfort zone and push myself to approach more girls and try to learn actually from mentors and from people that were teaching this stuff, how I can do better and how I can get better results. That's how I was able to get into relationships. That's how I was able to get girls to want to see me again after a first date, not just make an approach, get a number, and then never have her text me again. I was able to have a system and an actual process behind what I was doing. My friend watching this video, if you're watching this video, you have a process for your dating life, but currently your process is I consistently see girls that I want to approach and I don't do it. And I get stuck in my head and I come up with all these reasons and I reject myself. That's your current process. So you need to replace that process with something that actually helps you and leads to better results. And as a side note, I teach my processes to my clients in my Attraction Accelerator program. So you can click the link down below and see which levels you actually qualify for. And when you watch the video and you submit the application, you'll be able to book a call with me personally if you are a good fit. The next lesson is that hot girls are not different. They are just people, just like you and me, just like the girl that is cute, but she's not incredibly hot. All women are the same. All men are the same. All people are the same. We still have human experiences. We wake up, we take a shit in the morning. Everything is the same about our experience. We might just have different lenses that we look at the world through. So yeah, maybe some attractive women have certain things given to them, but they also have struggles. They have issues. They have guys coming up to them all the time and like simping and being super weird, trying to please them and overly apologizing for everything they do, treating them differently. So if you can keep that in mind and you can start treating attractive women normally, which this does take time. Remember, I made 2,500 approaches in the course of like 3 or 4 years. When you can start treating attractive women normally, they really fucking appreciate it. They really do. The next lesson is that women are nicer than you think they are. They are not these massive, terrible people that are trying to ruin your life or have these huge egos that you think they do. All of that is just projection inside your head. If you see a girl that's attractive and she acts in a way that's confident and that triggers you, then there's probably some self-worth issue going on within yourself, because I want people to act confident. I want people to believe in themselves. I really appreciate when people have faith that things are going to go well for them, or that they are competent, or that they are attractive. I want people to think that, you should be confident. I think you watching this video should be confident, right? I think I should be confident because I not only have I done things, but I've put myself through situations where I've failed and I've been okay. I've had videos on this channel that have flopped super hard. This video might fucking flop, but I know that in the long run, everything is going to work out because I have consistent actions that I'm putting in every single day to get closer to the life that I want to live. So just remember, it's not men versus women. This is about bringing men and women together. We are trying to create connections and create experiences because women want to meet guys too. And if you can go up and be confident when you approach, you can at least create a good experience for her, even if she's not interested in dating you. The next lesson is that confidence comes after rejection, not from never getting rejected. Guys that never get rejected, people that never fail, they actually have the most fragile egos. They're not willing to put themselves in uncomfortable situations where they do fail and own up to it. They have very fragile psyches and they can break down very easily. If you're very easily affected by rejection, it is most likely an ego issue. And this is coming from a guy that has a big fucking ego. I'm very stubborn. I get dug into the sand on things. I get really fucking locked in on what I think is right. And it takes a lot of effort for me to work through my ego and just focus on, listen, what actually works? What works here? And I don't need to have some identity that I'm some sick guy when it comes to women. I actually went through a phase when I was coaching where I felt like I had to be really good with women, and it created a lot more approach anxiety than I even had when I was like 20, because I was like, oh, well, I have to be sick. Women have to like me. I have to chase the validation of girls. And that was not a good period for me, even though I was getting results. It was not a good period of my life. And so if you can detach from your ego and realize that a lot of the things that are keeping you from taking action are just ego-based, you will be so much happier and you'll be able to take a lot bigger actions and you'll be able to make a lot more progress. This next lesson is that the right mindset of the student will save you years of your life. If you go through life thinking you understand everything about women, understand everything about what you're doing wrong, well, it's because I'm not tall enough, I'm not jacked enough, it's because of my hair, and you never take a look in the mirror and you go, what can I do in my behaviors to not only be more attractive to women, but have people want to be around me? And this does not mean chasing the approval of other people, trying to get people to like you, but how can I become a person that connects with people easily, and those people want to be around me, the right type of people, the people I want to have in my life, the girls that I want to date. How can I have more fun in my everyday life? Because who doesn't want to actually have fun when he leaves his fucking house? I know I do. I know you do. But if you're stuck, doing your software engineer job and you're just locked in all day, super serious, and you don't have a lot going on, not just hobbies, but you don't have a lot going on in terms of going on adventures, like any whimsy. One of my buddies, Jake, who's not into the pickup stuff at all, he talks about whimsy. And this guy is very whimsical. He's like the funniest guy in our friend group, which kind of pisses me off because I like to be the funny guy. And this dude is fucking awesome because he's very whimsical and he doesn't take things too seriously. And the times where he's not happy with himself are the times where he lets anxiety get the best of him. We actually just went cliff jumping a couple weeks ago just because he's afraid of water. And I was afraid to do it. So I was like, fuck it. Yeah, let's go. Let's do that thing. And it created a sense of adventure in my life and gave me a lot of confidence the next few days after that because I was taking this mindset of the student. I'm not going to assume that I could do anything that I haven't already done. I'm going to go try. I'm going to go see what happens. Instead of seeing a girl that I think is attractive, oh, she's probably a bitch and she's probably going to blow me out. I'm going to go, hey, I'm going to go find out. I'm going to use this opener. I'm going to play around with it. I'm just going to see what happens. I'm just curious. And when you can take this curious mindset, it's a very, very powerful shift. The next mindset sounds very philosophy-y, but failure is the tuition that you pay for success. So the same way you would pay tuition for a degree, you pay tuition for success by failing. You have to fail. And getting women, talking to women, it's not some side quest. Good relationships are not some side quest to go on to, when I have everything locked in, then women will come to me. if you're watching this video and you're in a good place in life and you still are watching this channel, it's probably because you know now that just because I have all this stuff, I have money, I have all this shit, I have friends or whatever, just because you have that doesn't mean that you're going to have an abundant dating life, because you need those processes and systems in place. So what does that actually look like? Well, it looks like going out and having a protocol that you go through on a daily basis to make sure that you're social, make sure that you push your comfort zone, and that you're doing things that you're uncomfortable with. And that is how you start on this journey of getting better with women, not just with approaching, but just saying hi to strangers and being more of a social person. You have to fail and push your comfort zone. I'm willing to bet that I, by myself, have had more awkward interactions than every single person watching this video, maybe combined. Even if you're a really awkward person, I've had so many awkward situations that I've had to laugh off, because awkward situations just happen to social people. That's a very big misconception, that just because you're social or you're an extrovert or people like you generally means that you don't have any awkward interactions. I have tons of awkward interactions. It happens all the time because I don't really know what I'm doing. No one really knows what they're doing. There are some rules with socializing, but everyone's going through their own life, and there's going to be awkward situations that come up. So when you can take these failures as lessons and understand that I have to fail in order to succeed, that's when you make the most progress. Women will test you and give you shit when they like you. A lot of guys don't understand this. If a girl says something like, oh my God, you're like so cocky, when you're trying out this like cocky, funny mindset, maybe you heard me talk about some concept on the channel, like being cocky, funny. Nope. Say hello, Olive. We had to shave her. Maybe you tried out some lines from the channel and you tried out some concepts, and women don't buy it. They don't believe you, so they test you. This is actually a good thing. So if you go up to a girl and you're being very cocky, and you're like, yeah, so when we get married, like we're going to have some crazy kids. They're going to be so cute. When you say that, it creates an opportunity for her to test, oh, is this guy really confident? She wouldn't test you if she didn't feel like you actually were confident. So she's going to create an awkward situation or like cause drama. This is why women do this in relationships. They cause issues or start a fight because they want to see how calm and relaxed and confident are you in this situation, and are you going to value how I'm feeling, or are you going to try to get my approval and be super like rapport seeking and apologetic and try to argue and get caught up in your ego. That is where shit tests come from. The final mindset is that trying to be liked makes you forgettable. So there's some practical things you can actually do to stop being liked and start being much more polarizing and prolific in your interactions where the girl's actually going to remember you. So one, stop using such watered down language. So instead of saying, oh yeah, I like that. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I fucking love that. Or instead of, I don't know, I'm not really a big fan. Fuck that. I fucking hate that. And cursing plus showing strong opinions about things is a very good way to create strong, lasting impressions. And you don't have to argue. You don't have to get into a debate mode with somebody. But standing by your beliefs and what you think is true is so fucking powerful. It's a fucking cheat code. It really is. As soon as I stopped chasing the approval of women and I started focusing on expressing myself more authentically in my interactions and having the most fun that I possibly could, and this is after I got over that bulk of the freeze response once I was approaching somewhat consistently, like once or twice a day, women started treating me so much differently because they didn't feel this pressure to like me. They didn't feel like if they didn't like me that I would get really upset or butthurt or make things weird. And that's such an important thing to remember. So if you take anything away from this video, stop trying to be liked. Stop trying to be liked. Either be loved or hated. And that is one of the best lessons that you can ever learn, because you only have your life. You only get to live with the decisions that you make by yourself. She doesn't have to go home with the fact that you had a strong opinion on something, you never spoke up. She doesn't have to go home with the fact knowing that you saw her and you wanted to say she was cute, but you just ended up having a boring platonic conversation. But you have to live with that, and no one else does. If you want to apply for coaching, links down in the description. Let me know in the comments what you guys want to see from me in the future. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Yo, what's up, guys? You got Pimple Face McGee here, ready to give you some of the best dating advice you've heard in 2025. I didn't want you guys to go the rest of the month without a video from me, and I honestly hadn't been able to film another video. So what I figured I would do is make a video with the top 3 pieces of advice that I've given to clients. And this is highly specific stuff for my coaching program. So if you're struggling with, going up to women, approaching in public, doing it consistently. Also, my eyes bloodshot. Dude, what the fuck's going on with me today? I have no clue. But if you're struggling with getting in your head and not being able to approach consistently, then this video is really going to help you. You're going to make sure you want to stick around while I go and pick up my Chipotle order. I probably won't be looking at the camera a lot because I'm fucking driving and trying to be safe, but let's get into it. All right, so banger piece of advice number 1 is that there are these things called proximity zones. And if you look it up, it's the name for it in like science is like proximetry or something like that. It's like something along those lines. But there are 4 main zones. And when you're opening girls or you're going out and you're trying to make more compliments or talk to more people and people ignore you a lot of times it's because you are waiting until you are in someone's personal space when you open them. And so if you can open from 10 to 15 feet away, more of the social kind of stranger zone, like just in public places, then you're going to get a lot better reactions because people don't have to be in an intimate or a like good friend type of proximity, like within 5 feet of you, to be able to kind of break out of autopilot. And proximity is actually a really powerful tool to build attraction, but you want to wait to get into that more intimate or personal space zone, which is, you know, between within 2 feet is intimate, and then kind of 2 to, I think it's like 5 feet, 2 to 7 feet is more like personal space, 2 to 5 feet. So if you can try to pay attention to, I want to be at least 10 to 15 feet away when I open people, when I'm walking, you know, down the sidewalk, giving compliments, doing all of these like social protocols, then this is going to be an absolute game changer for you. You're going to realize that people break out of autopilot a lot faster and just a lot easier. Girls are going to feel less uncomfortable. It just makes it so much better for everybody involved if you open 10 to 15 feet away. Now, the second piece of really good advice is my social protocol stack. Okay, I give this social protocol to everyone that joins the school. I honestly, maybe I shouldn't give this away for free, but it's really, really fucking good. And it basically gets guys to a point where every single day you can get to the point in an interaction with a girl where you are right on the edge of introducing yourself. So you'll get 3 interactions per day by the end of this, where and this is within a week, where you are able to show intent and you can extend the conversation if you want to. So here are the 4 phases of the stack. So basically what you do is you take 20 to 30 minutes every single day and you go on a walk in a place that is crowded enough where you see at least 1 person per minute. It doesn't have to be tons of foot traffic, but it does have to be like 30 people in 30 minutes. If you pass 30 people, then it's a good place to do this. So you can go to a mall, you can go to a grocery store, whatever. Walking around the grocery store can be a little weird, so maybe 15 minutes in the grocery store doing this while you're doing your shopping and 15 minutes elsewhere. You can kind of mix and match it to fit your schedule, but you basically want to find these 30 minutes. And during these 30 minutes, what you're gonna do is you are going to start with phase 1, which is 10 greetings. So it's just good morning, good morning, good morning. What makes a greeting count is if you just say, hey, good morning, and they don't say anything, they ignore you, they don't hear you, you know, you're in your head, you're like, hey, good morning, they don't even fucking hear you, it still counts. And you want to pat yourself on the back for that, for taking action. That is very fucking important, okay? Phase 2 is 5 greetings plus have a good day. So, hey, good morning, have a good day. Even if they ignore you, just have a good day. And it puts you in a state of abundance. That's the entire purpose of saying have a good day, even if you get rejected or you get a bad reaction or you get a neutral reaction. Saying have a good day at the end, it helps so fucking much because you're still wishing them a good day when you don't get the reaction you want, and it keeps your state much more protected. It protects your energy a whole lot more. Phase 3 is compliments. So with the compliments, you do 5 and you go, hey, I love your shirt, I love the jacket, I like the glasses. And with the compliments, as you get more comfortable with giving compliments, you can inject more personal input into the compliments after. So for example, if I see a guy that has an outfit that I wish I could pull off, but I just can't, whether it's like my skin tone or my face shape or glasses I can't pull off, whatever it is, I make a point to be like, dude, I'm so jealous because I can never pull that shit off, man. Fucking sucks. I'm so jealous of you, bro. You look so good in that. Or like, that looks so good on you. And being able to do that and open up and give personal input and just have more fun with it really makes it easier to connect with people. But even just very basic compliments, hey, I like the shirt, I like the jacket, whatever. That's really good. Then we move on to phase 4. Phase 4 is showing intent to a girl, showing interest 3 times, and then walking away. So you see a girl, think she's cute, you go up to her, you say, hey, excuse me, I just want to say, you look really cute today. Have a good day. And then you walk away, All right. Now, all you have to do if you want to extend the interaction is say, hey, you look really cute today. I'm Tim, by the way. And that is all you have to do in the interaction. The third piece of advice actually comes straight from one of my coaching calls that I did inside of the school for my guys in my program. If you go to school.com/understanding attraction, you can actually join the school. If you join before, I think in the next day, in the next 24 hours, the price is going to go up to $79 a month, and there's going to be some bonuses that are taken out of the offer. So you get a one-on-one with me when you join. It's $49 a month. You lock it in. If you join before September 1st, you do get access to that. So I would definitely hop in immediately. If you're seeing this on September 1st, you might be able to still get access. If you go to school.com/understanding attraction, I'm still debating on if I want to close right away or like on September 1st at midnight, or if I want to wait until 11:59 on September 1st. Give people the whole Labor Day weekend to actually like take advantage of the offer. But it comes straight from a group coaching call that I did with one of the guys in the program. And this guy, Lex, who is also in my one-on-one program, so you can apply for that down in the description as well. He had a situation where he approached a girl in the gym and he was feeling very nervous. And something I told him was, when you feel nervous and it's obvious you're nervous, just calling it out makes you so much less nervous. So when I was really awkward and I was 19 and 20 and I couldn't talk to girls without shaking, the main thing that really helped me was when I would approach, I would just be like, yeah, I'm kind of awkward. Like I'm pretty fucking nervous right now. As soon as I said I was nervous, all of a sudden I owned it and I wasn't as nervous anymore. Like I felt light, I felt relaxed, and it's a level of slight vulnerability that is very charming if you do it in the right way. So if you guys are nervous and you feel like you're trying to put on a front, like you're super sick and epic and confident in front of women, and you feel like you have to do that, try to own that you're nervous. Or own that you don't know what to say. Like, yeah, honestly, I don't even know what the fuck to say. Like, you're just so my type. I'm like losing my words right now. And when you say that, it takes a lot of the pressure off yourself, and then you'll probably come up with something to say, and she will probably find it somewhat charming. Now, once, you don't want to use this as a crutch. Like, if I'm feeling confident when I'm talking to a girl, I shouldn't say I'm nervous, because it's not authentic, it's not congruent, it's not going to help you at all. But by definition, to get to a point where you are very congruent, you're gonna have to own certain things about how you feel in the interaction or what's going on in the interaction. And it creates this sense of social calibration, openness, and confidence that you are able to acknowledge, like, yeah, I'm feeling kind of nervous right now. And that's okay. As long as you don't judge yourself for feeling nervous and you just say it like it's a fact, like the sky is fucking blue, or, we have, how many oceans? 7 oceans? We have 7 oceans or 7 continents, right? The earth is round. I know, I'm not a flat earther, fucking crazy. You honestly would have thought that I was a flat earther. But you want to focus on saying things like they are facts. Like, I'm kind of nervous right now. Because it's really not a big deal. It's when you cast the judgments and the meanings and everything onto it that makes it a big deal or makes it bad. All right, so these are the 3 best lessons. Please ignore the pimple. I love you guys. Let me know what you guys want to see from me in the future. Coaching applications down in the description. I'll see you guys when I get back from the beach. I'm gonna be all fucking sun glowing and shit. All right, see you guys later. The worst dating advice you could ever get in your entire life is to just be yourself. If you're a shy, introverted, stuck in his head, really awkward dude, being yourself will literally get you no results, and it will not change who you are. But there's a golden nugget inside of just being yourself that I'm going to break down in this video that will help you use that advice and use that advice of just being yourself or just being confident. That will really help you, and you can build up really rock solid confidence if you just pay attention to the 5 points in this video. So don't click away, make sure you watch all the way to the end, because point number 5 will kind of bring everything together and get you a really powerful result. The first thing you have to understand about confidence is that confidence comes from taking action and doing things and having experiences. And this means failing too. So going up to a cute girl and getting rejected, freezing up in your conversation, not knowing what to say, coming off super awkward and weird, and still being okay after. Because I would argue that I've failed more than pretty much every guy watching this video at talking to women. And I've been on hundreds of dates, gotten a lot of success with women. I have my dream girl now. Like, everything is fucking dialed. Everything's amazing in my dating life. My relationship life is good. And I still have to do work to actually try to improve it and try to, improve my social circle and things like that. But in terms of dating, I'm locked in. I'm locked in, dude. And the reason that I'm in a great spot is because I have so many more failures than everyone else was willing to put up with. I was willing to put up with failure and coming off awkward and accidentally making people uncomfortable and not knowing what I'm doing and just living through life being messy as fuck. You have to be messy with this because social skills and social dynamics and talking to women and dating, it gets fucking messy. Like that's something that once my clients start going on dates in my one-on-one program, once they start going on dates, they start realizing, oh fuck, like managing dating girls, like it's kind of difficult. There's drama that comes up, there's stuff that comes up. Fuck, man, like this is kind of hard. It's like, yeah, because life is messy. Relationships are messy. Emotions are messy. And so when you can understand that about your own confidence, that you have to take action first and you have to fail in order to build confidence, it really changes the game for you. I don't know how many ways I can say this, but you're never going to feel confident before you take action. And even after you take action, you still won't feel confident. You're going to feel confident by choosing to do confident things consistently over a long period of time. So approaching the girl that you don't want to, asking the cashier how her day's going, all of these things. You're going to feel better about yourself and feel more confident when you do these things. The other trick with just being yourself is that it totally ignores any sort of process that works. So you can just be yourself, and there is an ideal version of yourself, and I'll get to that in a second. There's an ideal version of yourself that just being that version of yourself is going to get you amazing results. But you have to understand the process of how to actually get there. So the most ideal version of yourself talks to people more often than not, right? So just above 50% of the time when you're in line at a coffee shop, starts a conversation with the barista, starts a conversation with the guy behind you, compliments him on his tattoo, compliments him on his watch, just has conversations with people. He goes outside a lot. He does things like go to the gym where people are at so he can have conversations with people. He's not feeling social, but he is social anyway. Those are the parts of the process that are very important. So you need to start building out, if you want to really be more confident, you want to start building out processes into your life of what are the actions that I'm going to take in order to start building real solid confidence. The third thing about being yourself is that you need to be a more confident version of yourself. And like I said in point number 1, you need to have failures and experiences in order to have confidence. So if you want to build up really strong confidence, I would argue go out and get rejected 100 times. But go out and get rejected 100 times with the purpose, I'm doing this to feel better about myself about rejection, right? You want to go out and get rejected for the purpose of reminding yourself that I'm going to be okay after. Not to just beat myself down and be like, see, this is why girls don't like you. It's like, see, if girls aren't attracted to me right now, that's totally okay because I can build up these skills. And this is very powerful when you combine it with what I said about having a process in place. If you have a specific process of actions that you take to improve your skills with women and talking to people and socializing, be more expressive, building up real grounded confidence and speaking up more often than not. When you combine those two things, you actually build a lot of very grounded confidence. So then it becomes a lot easier to like just be confident or just be yourself. But you have to have this process that builds you up to the point where you can even do that at all. The fourth thing about just being yourself or just being confident when you talk to women is that initially, you might have to fake some confidence, but you can only fake confidence for so long, whether it's 30 seconds in the initial interaction or even like 2 weeks of dating a girl regularly. You can only fake the confidence for so long, which is why consistent action is so important. So a lot of guys, they'll go out, they'll approach, they'll get a couple numbers, they'll feel good about themselves, and then they'll stop taking action. I see this a lot with guys that join my one-on-one program. This is what they've done in the past. And so what I have them do is I have them go out, and every time you get a number, you have to approach again. Or every time you get a date, you have to approach 5 times that day, or you can't go on that date. You have to set up specific rules and protocols for yourself for how you actually handle success so that you can continue to build up this process. Because over time, as you are more disciplined and regimented with how you take action, you're going to build real grounded confidence, and that will help you with whatever relationships you're in right now. You won't be as insecure. You won't be as jealous. You won't be as needy. You're going to have less fear of loss. All those things that kind of turn girls off, you're going to do those things less because you're actually going to have more grounded confidence. Deep grounded confidence comes from a lot of experiences and going through a lot of shit and being okay after. That's where it comes from. And so if you don't have that kind of stability, you can fake confidence at first and you can do like the pickup artist thing and get girls into you for a short period of time. But eventually the true colors are going to come out and you're going to have to deal with those eventually. So you might as well continue to take action. And even if you're getting some dates, continue to approach, continue to talk to people, and continue to push your comfort zone in social interactions. Now, the final point with just being yourself and why that is really good advice, but really bad advice at the same time, is that being yourself is not good if you're just being who you are right now. But when you have these processes in place and you have these systems in your life for your dating life, for how you act and who you talk to and how often you open your mouth when you go out in public, when you have these systems in place, now you are acting more like the ideal version of yourself. So what you want to do to build up to a point where you can just be yourself and women will be attracted to you. Like I feel like I'm at that point right now. I don't have to do a lot of tactics because I naturally do a lot of attractive things just by being myself. The reason I'm able to do that is because I have these systems in place for how I go about my day and how I go about my life. And I don't have to think about these things nearly as much. So when you have a step-by-step process for what does the ideal version of me act like? What does the most confident version of me act like? What kind of things does he do with his free time? What hobbies does he have? And you have a lot of clarity on that. It becomes a lot easier to build a lot of really grounded, solid, attractive behaviors and confidence around women. And it makes it so much easier to get consistent results. This is why guys that are naturals with women, these guys kind of have these things built into their life, whether they got them from like a parent, or they got them from sports or school or whatever. They've had these processes built up in their life that has actually helped them get to the point where they are right now. And they just naturally did it without even thinking about it. So the good news for you watching this video is that you can start to build up these confident behaviors over time so that you can be a guy that comes off naturally good with women, but you actually had to work for it. And I don't know about you, but I would rather work to get to a point where I want to be rather than just be like, well, I didn't have the opportunities or I didn't have the experiences with women growing up. I would much rather work for that and get better results than the guys that are natural at this than just have kind of mediocre results floating through life, waiting for some magical fairy tale woman to sweep me off my feet. I'd much rather have that. And I'm super glad that I did because now I'm in an amazing relationship. I'm super happy with everything in my dating life. It's all fucking dope. Now, if you want someone to help you build up this process for yourself, custom to your situation, I have a few coaching options. You can click the link down in the description to apply, and you can select the options that will be best for you. Let me know in the comments what you want to see from me in the future, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace. I used to be so shy and anxious when it came to talking to women that I found attractive in public that I would literally shake and sweat profusely. And I went from that point in my life in my early 20s where women didn't take me seriously. I could never spark attraction with the girls that I really wanted to date, to now being with my dream girl and having a lot of experience from going on hundreds of dates, meeting tons of women, and now teaching guys the exact same process of how to go from a total beginner with no social skills, not being able to talk to women, not being confident, to having confidence, being able to approach any woman that you want, anytime, any day. And the main thing I've learned throughout this whole process is that approach anxiety, which is what most of you guys struggle with, is totally fake. And in this video, I'm going to show you 5 different strategies and mindsets for getting rid of approach anxiety forever, or at least reframing it so that it doesn't affect your actions. Because at the end of the day, you're never going to not feel anxious approaching an attractive woman. You're never going to not feel some type of nerves because, dude, she's attractive and you don't want to fuck it up. And that is normal. But what you need to understand is that every time you see an attractive girl and you feel those emotions, it does not have to affect how you actually act. And you can act in spite of those emotions and still come off confident if you just follow these 5 steps and mindsets. The first thing that I learned in this whole journey of overcoming my own approach anxiety is that anxiety is basically the same emotion as excitement. So when you see an attractive girl, instead of thinking, oh man, I'm freezing up, I'm so anxious, you're actually freezing up because you're so excited about the possibility of approaching that girl and talking to that girl. You think that something might happen from this, and so you're excited about it. And so instead of thinking about, oh, I'm so anxious, I feel low, I feel small, I feel insignificant, like I can't do this, you can start thinking about this as, I'm so excited to go talk to this girl because when I talk to this girl, anything could fucking happen. Actually, anything. She could be the most beautiful girl in the world. And if you're a busted looking dude, she could still find something that you did charming and she might still go on a date with you. That is actually true. I've gone on dates with very attractive women before when I felt very small. And honestly, I didn't have any good game. This is when I was like 20, 21. I didn't really have much opportunity or experiences. I didn't have experience with women, so I didn't know what I was doing. And I actually still got dates with very attractive women. Now, they didn't go anywhere because I didn't know how to run a date, but this is how you get experience so that when you do eventually meet that dream girl for you that you want to make into your wife, you can run a really good fucking first date because you're not freaking out the whole time and you know how to deal with your nerves. So number one is that approach anxiety is not real. It's just approach excitement. And you need to start by reframing that. The second mindset is what I call the patronizing stranger mindset. And a lot of you guys have some limiting beliefs or some negative self-talk that comes up when you see an attractive girl. Oh, you're probably not tall enough. She probably doesn't like you. She probably doesn't like brown guys. She probably doesn't like this type of guy. She probably doesn't like short guys. She probably doesn't like me because I'm a little too chubby. I don't have abs yet. I'm too pale. I don't have hair. Like all these things that come up in your head. Now, if you're anything like me, then you have a very competitive side of you. There's a part of you that has some spite, has a chip on his shoulder, something to prove. And so instead of thinking about these negative thoughts as coming from you, I want you to imagine them coming from some random fucking dude on the street that comes up to you and just starts berating you for all the reasons why you shouldn't approach that girl. Well, you probably shouldn't approach her, bro. She probably wouldn't even like you. She probably wouldn't even think you're that cool. You're probably not funny enough. You're probably not interesting enough. You probably don't make enough money. You're probably too short. You're probably too fat. You're not in good enough shape. If it were me, and this really helped me a lot when I was starting out, I would think about that guy coming up to me and immediately I'd be like, no, fuck you. I'm going to show you that I'm going to approach this girl. I don't give a fuck. Maybe she rejects me. That's fine. I'm just going to show this fucking guy that I can do this because I know I can. And when you have this mindset of fuck this guy, fuck this other dude, because really all those thoughts, they're coming from external places that you've been taught your entire life. They're not actually coming from you. And so when you can realize that all these thoughts are coming from some random stranger, or even better, maybe someone in your life that has talked down on you, an old friend that was, really hurt your confidence, or, your parents or a relative, or someone in your life, like a coach that has shit talked you your entire life and didn't believe in you, and you proved them wrong, or you wanted to prove them wrong. This is now your opportunity to prove them wrong and approach that fucking girl because you know you can. And so I channel that kind of dark competitive side of myself when I get into these moments of someone telling me, and that someone being myself and my own self-talk, telling me I can't approach. And if you can reframe that, that's a very powerful reframe as well. It's a very powerful strategy for overcoming approach anxiety, because a lot of times the feeling of spite and getting back at someone, proving someone wrong, is actually a lot more powerful than whatever small emotions of like, I'm not feeling good enough. I'm feeling very, very little and weak, and I'm not powerful. I'm like this little fucking chode loser, right? Those negative emotions, those are strong, but they're not as strong as fuck you, I'm going to do it anyway. You like olive? Subscribe to the channel. The third thing you have to understand about approach anxiety is that approach anxiety, a lot of the anxiety comes from the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen. And when you realize that, you can realize that I can actually make this approach anxiety so much better by just making it happen. By actually going and getting rejected, by actually going up and trying to talk to this attractive girl, and then realizing, looking down at my hands, I'm still alive. I'm still here. I'm really anxious. Let's say, for example, I was anxious to make this video because I didn't want to make this video. I've been putting it off. I just got back from vacation. I didn't want to make the video. But I look down at my hands now that I've started. I'm still here. I'm still here. And I feel like I have an obligation to you guys to make good content. And it's the same way that you have an obligation to yourself to approach that girl and face your fears. And so when you realize that the anxiety comes from something just like really vague, it's all the vague bullshit. The anxiety doesn't come from actually bad things happening to you. You've had your feelings hurt before. You've felt lonely before. You felt like you didn't like where your life was at before. So what's the big deal? And ultimately that big deal is some vague thing that doesn't even have a definition. You couldn't even define what you're actually worried about happening. And the reason and the way that you can get to the bottom of this is by asking yourself, okay, and after the excuse. So yeah, I am afraid. I'm afraid she's going to reject me. Okay, and well, and if she rejects me, then I feel bad about myself. Okay, and well, then if I feel bad about myself, then I won't be able to talk to girls for the rest of my life. Okay, and well, I guess I'll still be alive, and you very quickly run out of reasons why it fucking matters. We're going to die. You fast forward 100 years, none of us will be here. Maybe 200. I don't know how good science is going to get. But we're not going to be here eventually. So at the end of the day, all the vague anxiety that you're worried about happening, there's like some vague consequence that you think might happen, but none of it's real. Because even if you did approach this girl and you accidentally came off really creepy and she made a video about you and plastered you all over the internet, guess what? You'd still be alive. Even if you lost your fucking job. Like, I know that this sounds extreme, but like, even if you did lose your job, you'd be okay. Even if you were, known everywhere for being a creep in the gym, you'd still be fine. And I would argue that having that experience, you'd grow a lot from it. So start realizing that all of the anxiety lives in vague terms. It's fairy dust. It's La La Land. It's or whatever the fuck from the Wolf of Wall Street, Matthew McConaughey, when he's like, oh, it's fairy dust. It's all fugazi. That's what the anxiety is. It's not real. You have to realize that, because once you start taking action, the anxiety, you'll have some fears, but you'll realize that they're fears that you can handle. And that's where real confidence comes from. It comes from knowing that no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. And that ultimately is the most grounded confidence you can possibly have, which kind of sick that girls find that very attractive, but then also you're just going to feel better about yourself and life is going to go a lot better. It's going to go your way a lot more. Now, building off the back of that, confidence, this is point number 4, actually comes from taking action. Confidence does not come before taking action. There's going to be no amount of theory, and I think you know this watching this video, but there's no amount of theory that is going to help you overcome your fears. This is one of the things that I have to help my clients overcome inside my one-on-one coaching program. The main thing is getting them to a point where they can take action to build confidence. And then if that action stops, the confidence goes away a little bit, but at least they know how to get it back. And when you can have a reliable process for taking consistent actions and starting with the smallest level of action, even if it's just saying hello to strangers on the street, telling them to have a good day, giving them compliments, telling a girl you think that she's cute, and then walking away. You don't even have to start a conversation. When you can start taking action, you will start building confidence because you'll have experiences. You don't even need to get wins. You don't even need to go on dates to build confidence. And if you're the type of guy that feels like, oh, well, I would definitely have to go on dates to feel confident, well, I would reevaluate how you feel about confidence, because probably a lot of other parts of your life, you're looking for external validation from other people to feel confident when you don't actually need that. This is kind of a bonus point, but no one deserves anything. No one deserves to feel confident. No one deserves to not feel confident. It's just something you have or you don't. And a lot of that comes from your choice of how you feel about yourself. And so if you have trouble feeling confident, you need to understand that there is no amount of work, no amount of results, no amount of money, physique, whatever, that will give you true grounded confidence like a guy that can accept himself. And so if you guys want a good resource for that, Models by Mark Manson is a really fucking good book. He talks about vulnerability, and it's actually kind of funny. I made my whole coaching program before I even read the book, and I realized that a lot of the things I talk about with confidence actually are directly from that book that I learned from like mentors and other places. So if you want to learn more about accepting yourself and building up real confidence, Models by Mark Manson is a very good book. It's not as practical as like getting a course or getting coaching, but it is a very good book for understanding the mindset behind what makes a guy really confident. The 5th thing you have to understand about approach anxiety and it not being real is that approach anxiety and fear is actually just a growth signal. It's a sign that you can grow from something. So every time I feel anxious about something, it means that there's change on the horizon. Remember, anxiety comes from fear of the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen. And if you don't like where you're at right now in terms of women, the amount of dates you're going on, the types of women you're dating, then you by definition want things to change. So every time you feel fear, you feel like something's going to change, it will feel uncomfortable and it will feel scary, but that is actually a sign that growth is on the other side of that. And that's one of the hardest things to understand. It's one of the hardest things to really internalize. The best way I've found to internalize this is to really try to get in touch with how you feel when you do feel anxious. When you do feel anxious or you feel like nervous about doing something, that is almost always a sign that you should do that thing. And some things are not a big deal. Like I felt scared going cliff jumping a couple weeks ago. Never done it before. I was a little scared. It's like a 20-foot cliff. I was pretty fucking scared to do it. And I did it anyway because I felt like it was something that would make me feel better about myself. Like, fuck yeah, I did it. And it's cool, but not doing that wouldn't have made me a much more confident person, right? But it's these little wins along the way of just stacking things that you normally wouldn't do, that you went out of your way to push yourself and do things that you're scared of that cause growth. So every time you feel scared, there is growth on the other side. And if you remember that, you keep watching the channel, you keep going out and taking action, your life's totally going to change, man. Like, I know it feels really hard to struggle with approach anxiety, struggle with going to the mall. Like, I would do this. I would go to the mall for 3 hours, approach 0 girls, and feel like shit about myself. But it's all part of the journey. That fear, discomfort, anxiety, it is all part of making an actual change. So drop a comment down below. What do you want to see from me in the future in terms of questions you have, content you want me to make? If you want to apply for coaching, I have brand new coaching offers going into September this year. So you can fill out my application, so you can fill out my application in the description or the pinned comment and see which offer resonates with you the most and fits your budget, fits everything for you. There's stuff for guys all over the map. There's stuff for guys all over the map, whether it's my free content or it's my coaching community or my high-end coaching or even in-person coaching if you are into that and you want to come out to Nashville and get coached by me in person. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Back when I first started approaching girls at 19, 20, I would get into pretty consistent interactions, 2 to 3 minutes long, that would go well. I'd get positive reactions and things would be going, solidly. I would feel like it was going to lead to a date, but usually those numbers would end up flaking on me, or the girl would just straight up end the conversation and say it was nice to meet me. And what I wasn't ever reaching was this point of tension, this point of sexual tension where the girl was very attracted to me. And if you're watching this video and you're in that position too, and you're struggling to get interactions that lead to a real connection with the girl, and you never hit that point of playful banter where you guys are actually flirting back and forth, this video is going to teach you exactly step by step how to do that. So if your conversations feel flat, robotic, or scripted, or you feel like girls don't take you seriously when you actually approach them, or they just never end up being fun in the first place, you're not having a lot of fun in your interactions, make sure you stay to the end of the video and you apply everything that I talk about, because this is going to totally change your life. So I'm going to break down a few techniques in this video that you can use to create more playful banter and just more of a fun interaction with girls that you talk to. But first, I'm going to talk about the mindset that actually gets you there. So the mindset that I want you to apply from now on is the cocky, funny mindset. So the cocky, funny mindset is really just a mindset where you're coming at the interaction from a place of we are both in on the joke. I think if you Google what flirting actually is, like the definition of it on Google, it is showing interest without serious intentions. And that's the most important thing to remember about this. Flirting with a girl, it's emotional, it's not logical, and it's all about making her feel something. And you have to be, by extension, feeling that thing too, because women will always feel how you feel. I talk about it all the time on this channel. So there are a few ways that you can inject this kind of cocky, funny mindset, this cocky, funny attitude into your interactions. The first one that I don't see a lot of guys doing, but it is really fun to do personally for me, and it pushes my buttons a lot, is not just teasing her, but talking about my life like I'm fake struggling. So a good example of this would be, I was talking to a girl at the gym a few weeks ago, and I said something along the lines of like, oh yeah, it's really hard because girls are just following me all over the place. Like, I talk to them for a little bit and they just get super obsessed. So I was just making sure you weren't following me. Saying stuff like that as if you are used to girls being really into you and giving you tons of attention, but doing it from a sarcastic and kind of playful way is really fucking powerful. Because on one hand, you're talking about how, oh man, life sucks because I'm getting so much attention from women and it's so awful. But then also bragging at the same time. It's like a kind of humble brag, but it's self-aware. If you can try injecting that into your interactions, it will help you a lot, because not only are you doing something that's funny and it's kind of fun to do, but you are also putting yourself in a state where you're actually saying words about how you are the shit without coming off try hard, which makes it so fucking powerful, especially if you're a guy that just approached you on the street and then you're just talking about how, God, yeah, I know, like, I just get so much attention from girls. Girls are just so attracted to me, and it's honestly, it's getting a little frustrating. It's kind of frustrating. I'm like, fuck, how do I know if someone's just trying to use me for my good looks? How do I know that? I don't, And you can have that kind of attitude, and it makes it really fun. I'm even relaxing and smiling while I'm filming this video, just doing that, because I think it's so fucking fun. The next technique you can use is something that's in almost every dating video. It's playfully teasing her. But the key with playfully teasing is not just giving her shit about something randomly, but picking and choosing where to give her shit based on your own values. So if she says she hates sushi, I talk about sushi a lot on the channel, I don't know why, but she says she hates sushi and you like sushi, you can say, listen, you're cute, but we're gonna have to solve this because I love sushi. So can you do like fried rice or something? Can you do something? Because like if we're going on dates and you can't get sushi and we're never able to go places that have sushi, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. And just by saying that, I'm being polarizing by saying something very ridiculous and over the top, but I'm also playfully teasing her like, hey, this won't work out if we can't come to a conclusion here. If we can't figure out something that works for both of us, a compromise, this is not going to work out. And it shows that I don't have fear of loss and I'm okay with walking away. The next technique is role-playing future success with the girl. So this kind of goes along with the cocky, funny attitude. What a lot of guys will say is like, oh, when we get married, when we go on our date, we're going to have to do X, Y, and Z. Instead of just saying that, make it more playful and fun, and also don't assume all the way to the end. So saying something like, before we get married, we're going to have to work this out because, listen, my wife, I need her to be on board with getting Asian food at least once a month or else I'm going to go crazy. Right? I don't know why I'm on this Asian food kick, but that's a really good example of how to inject a playful, like successful role play with the girl by saying, before we get married, we're going to have to insert kind of the constraint that you have. That is a very good way of playfully role-playing. Another example of this that I actually had on a date that I went on a couple years ago was the girl was very short and we both actually like to cook. So one thing I said was, hey, when we get married, we move in together, we're going to have like different, I don't know how it's going to work. We're going to have like different levels of like countertops because like I'm not trying to bend over and like have these low ass countertops and like break my back trying to cook dinner. But if you want to do it too, then we're going to have some different elevated surfaces in the house. That is a very good way to put it in her mind that things are going to go well between you and her. The next technique is what I call the low-key challenge. What a lot of guys will do is they'll try to challenge the girl in a very try-hard way. So the girl says, oh, I make the best tacos. And the guy's like, oh, really? Well, then you should prove it to me. Well, I'm the president of the United States. How are you going to prove me wrong? And they try to come off like, I don't know, like super, they try to do the cocky thing, but it's too try hard. It's way better to do a low-key challenge that puts her in the frame of she's trying to prove herself to you. So an example of that would be, wow, it seems like you have something to prove then. Or, wow, you're going to have to prove that to me then. When I deliver it like that, and I have good delivery, but I also am able to not do it in a super try-hard and like structured, robotic way, it makes it so much easier for her to open up and take it as a joke, because ultimately that is what it is. This is how you get into playful banter and you get her playing along because she's also in on the joke. The main mindset, and I don't know if you picked up on it at the start of the video, is you are both in on it. Flirting and teasing her and being cocky and funny. It's not something you're doing to her to get a reaction. It's something you're doing together and you guys are playing off of each other. It's a back and forth. It's a collaborative effort. When I flirt with a girl, it's us flirting with each other. I'm not flirting with her. You understand? It's very important to have this mindset going in, because if you don't have the mindset of like she wants to flirt back because she actually wants that, then you're going to come off super try hard and like you're trying to force something to happen. You're going to come off like you have an agenda, which is very unattractive. And honestly, it makes girls uncomfortable a lot of the time. Now, the next technique is more about facial expressions and delivery. Notice the difference between, oh, you're going to have to prove that then, and wow, it sounds like you have something to prove. One is way more laid back and relaxed. You need to be able to relax when you deliver these lines. If you can have a nonchalant, relaxed, and laid back vibe, then this will really fucking help you. Obviously, when you're doing this, you need to be able to gauge the girl's reaction. So I want to give you a quick little guide to understand, are you going too far? Are you, being too polarizing? Are you being too much of a dick when you're doing this? Because when you aren't used to being cocky, it will come off try hard sometimes. And you need to be able to gauge the reaction, and I'll also tell you how to react if you do go too far. So what you want to look for is how much compliance or how much is she playing into the flirting that I'm doing. So if I'm flirting with her and she's coming back with the same joke, right? And she's flirting with me back and she's maybe even giving me shit or challenging me, right? Then that is actually good, right? Especially if she's smiling and laughing. But if she's just coming back and forth with it and we're kind of flirting with each other back and forth, that's a very good sign, right? But if she shuts down and seems more emotionally closed off, that is a sign that you do need to socially calibrate a little bit. And this is how you do it. If you can tell that you offended her or you pissed her off, all you have to do is say, sorry, I can be an asshole sometimes. I'm just trying to have fun. And when you say it like that, not in a way where you're like, oh, I'm sorry if I offended you. I'm just trying to have fun. But I'm just trying to have fun. That's my bad. Anyway, yeah, what were you saying you do for work? And you move on very quickly. Makes it a lot easier to kill the bad vibes that are happening in the interaction and just make it more fun. So she knows, hey, I'm just flirting. My bad. totally didn't mean to, and then move on very quickly. Don't worry about getting her to say it's okay. Don't worry about her reaction or trying to control how she thinks of you. She already has her opinion, and that's okay. You can just move on. So listen, man, once you add sarcasm and a bit more cocky, funny attitude into your interactions, I promise you, it might feel a little try hard at first. It might feel a little weird, but women will react differently. And this is what's going to take you from 2-minute, 3-minute conversations that go nowhere to something that actually leads to really solid dates, having a bit more of a cocky vibe and assuming a lot more attraction when you're in the interaction and being able to have more fun in the interaction. Because at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. Having fun when you talk to girls, having fun when you connect with people everywhere in your everyday life. All right. If you want to apply to work with me personally, there's a new application down below in the description. I have multiple levels of offers for different guys in different situations. I have group coaching. I even have a high-end elite mastermind that you can do one-on-one here in Nashville with me, where I'll go out and I'll approach with you and push you to get into interactions and actually take you to the point where you're getting regular dates just in one weekend. And then I offer support on the back end of that. All right, so apply down below in the description. Let me know in the comments what you want to see from me in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
So this is me, stuck in my head, overthinking, super timid.
You have a really great style, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Tim. Nice to meet you. Yeah, firm handshake, too. It was impressive.
I have more than that.
Yeah, listen, you're impressing me today, okay? I don't know how much more I can take, so, all right, have a good one.
Tim.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Just walking with my friend. He's autistically standing in the corner now. Just waiting for me to get done talking to you. Okay, so you need cute boy to show you around.
Something like that.
Is what I'm hearing. That's good. Here, let me grab your number. Why'd you move here?
Heartbreak. If you want
Yeah?
me to be honest.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Freshly heartbroken. That's exactly what I'm
Right?
looking for. It's all good.
Me too.
All right, perfect.
But this is also me, confident, out of my head, expressive, feeling like the man getting this girl's number. What if I told you that those clips were shot literally 1 hour apart? In this video, I'm going to show you the exact 30-minute workflow that you can use to go from shy, stuck in your head, and not very confident to feeling extremely confident, outgoing, and charismatic when you talk to new people. And this works even if you have never really approached before. If you don't know who I am, I used to not be able to talk to girls without shaking. I would be so terrified to even try to approach. And this is my social formula for getting out of my head. And it's worked wonders for me for years. It's time I give this away to you guys. In this video, I'm going to show you how to go from shy, stuck in your head, overthinking, freezing up, to confident and charismatic with literally just 30 minutes of work per day. And this works even if you're a beginner. Honestly, I really shouldn't be giving this away for free, but fuck it. So other than being shyer than the emo gamer girl in your favorite anime dating sim, what actually causes approach anxiety? Why do you actually feel approach anxiety other than just being shy? Here's the thing about approach anxiety. It is all about decisions. In the past, you've had times where you've made decisions and you've been rewarded for being passive, not taking action, not going after what you want, and not taking risks. You went to school, you sat in your desk, you shut the fuck up, and you were a good little boy. And that is actually normal. That's what every guy is brainwashed and socially conditioned to do. But when it comes to wanting to date ideal women, like the actual women you want to date, you have to put yourself out of your comfort zone and you have to get real experience with approaching girls that you think are absolutely fucking beautiful. Like you see them and your head explodes and there's just a little matchstick left with a little bit of smoke coming out. You have your eyes popping out and your tongue flopping on the ground like a fucking cartoon, right? You want to approach those girls, but you need to have experience doing that in order to be good at it. So by definition, you're going to have to get used to this stuff. And the 4-step process I'm going to give you in this video is going to tell you exactly how to get out of your head and get to a point where you can approach the most beautiful women with literally 30 minutes of work per day. I promise you. So really quick before we get into the 4-step process, it's really important to understand that with this social conditioning, being conditioned to just play it safe and not take any risks, I want you to stop and really think about this. What kind of results have you gotten in your dating life when you have been passive? How many dates have you gotten from that? And of those dates, like in the last 6 months, of those dates in the last 6 months, how many girls have been your ideal girl that you'd be excited to see again? And then out of those long-term options, how many of those girls wanted to see you again and you got on 2 to 3 dates with? And the answer is probably fucking sad. The answer is probably pretty depressing, because if you're watching this video, you're probably pretty passive, which is fine because I was there too. I'm going to show you how to get into that proactive state. But you have to be aware that your life is significantly worse by you being passive. And you need to really hammer that into your head. It's so important to understand that if you are not proactive about your dating life, about going out and meeting girls, then you will not change. Nothing will change, and no one is coming to save you. And you might feel like shit because your results aren't very good right now. And I'm here to tell you there is no reason to judge yourself. Everyone in the past that has gotten better at this, including myself, all my clients, guys I've worked with one-on-one in my school, everybody that gets better at this starts at a place where they are not proud of their results. They are not happy with it. You just have to understand that your results right now are just a result of false beliefs. I'm going to give you some examples right now of false beliefs that keep you from approaching, keep you from taking action. The first most common belief that I see most guys have is that I don't want to get rejected in front of other people because that would be embarrassing. And I'm going to break down right now why this belief just doesn't make sense. All you have to do with these false beliefs is just ask a couple questions. So I'm going to show you an example. So I don't want to get rejected in front of people because that would be embarrassing. Well, why is that true? Well, because then it would hurt my confidence. How would it hurt your confidence? Because that's just what happens. That's what's supposed to happen. And that right there is the problem. The problem with a lot of these false beliefs is that you feel like there's a meaning behind the stuff that happens. If I get rejected, then I have to feel bad about myself because that's just what happens. No, that's what has happened to other people before. Other people have let it hurt their confidence. You have let it hurt your confidence in the past, but it doesn't need to actually hurt your confidence. That's a choice that you are making. You are choosing to assign that meaning. If I get rejected by this girl, that means I have to have worse confidence. It's not true. That doesn't actually make sense. And to go a little deeper on that, that's just a belief that's very common, is that if I get rejected, it's going to hurt my feelings. Is that if I get rejected, it's going to hurt my confidence. And the reason guys think that is because if she rejects me, it means I'm not attractive or I'm not good enough. Well, you have to ask yourself, why is that true? And a lot of guys will say, well, because if she doesn't want me, I'm not desirable. But does she not want you, or does she not want what she saw in the first 30 seconds of talking to you? Which one is more likely? Probably the first 30 seconds. Is that first 30 seconds of how you talk to women in your control? Can you spend time making sure you are dressed okay, that you don't smell like shit, that you have a smile on your face when you talk to her, that you have a flirty delivery, that you have a good vibe when you go up and talk to her, that you can make a couple jokes and take the tension out of the conversation and just relax, have a really dominant subcommunication? Yes, probably. Cool. Now, dating is back in your control. Whether or not she's attracted to you is back in your control, and it's something you can fully have control over. So all these false beliefs that are causing internal approach anxiety and tension and causing you to not take action are coming from assumptions that you never think to question. And this is what I'm trying to do on the channel. I'm trying to get you to think differently and think about how you can have different beliefs and question your beliefs so that you can make different assumptions about how the world works. Because right now, your assumptions and your beliefs, they're leading you to results that you don't fucking like, bro. You're sitting here watching a YouTube video about how to get girls. And I was there too. It sucks. It sucks to be there. And I think having different beliefs and shifting your belief system to buy into a new system is very, very powerful for this. And I think it's super important. It's one of the most important things, which is why it's taken me so fucking long to get into this, the meat of the video with the actual 4-step process. And the reason most guys stick to these beliefs that aren't serving them anymore, maybe they've served them in the past, is because if you believe something new, if you shift into new beliefs, you hurt your ego. And this is the thing I needed to understand, and that most men need to understand when they want to get better at becoming more charismatic and talking to more people, because you do need to get out of your own way. If you think you're too good to socialize with an old lady, if you think you're too good to say what's up to a homeless guy and be nice, if you think you're too good for that, then I'm going to be honest, this won't work for you. And you might be like, Tim, how the fuck do I get around these old beliefs, my old ego that's getting in the way of me making these changes? Well, I'm going to show you because I'm a fucking genius with all the answers. But actually, I have been through a lot of this bullshit. I've been through all of these things because as a guy that grew up for 20 years, shaking and shitting my pants when I would try to talk to women, I have a lot of these negative beliefs that actually held me back. So I'm going to walk you through how to actually get past these. So now let's get into my social protocol for actually breaking a lot of these beliefs and getting into consistent flow state socially on a daily basis. So it's a 4-phase process. consisting of greetings, and then greetings plus have a good day. I'll explain what that means in a second. And then compliments and showing intent and walking away. These are the 4 main phases. And by the end of it, you're going to get 23 interactions per day, 23 social interactions in one day in 30 minutes. It's very possible. It's very doable. So let's get into phase 1, greetings. So you're going to go out and you're going to do 10 greetings. And to do this, you can go anywhere that you would pass around 1 person per minute. So a park, mall, shopping center, anywhere, high school cheerleading practice. Just kidding. Don't do that. Bad, not good. You will get tased multiple times. And when you're at these places, you just go on a walk, okay? And while you're on the walk, you do 10 greetings. So this is just, hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello, hi. Anything that is opening your mouth and sounds come out to the other person. And what makes it count as a greeting is just saying anything. You open your mouth, sounds come out. That is it. That's all you have to do. If they have headphones in, if they ignore you, if they hate you, if they throw coffee in your face and they murder you, you're fine. It counts. So you still got it in. Here are a few examples of what would count for an actual greeting.
Hey, good morning. Morning, bro. Good morning. Morning, guys. Dude, no one's feeling it this morning, bro.
Now we get into phase 2, which is greetings plus have a good day. You're going to do 5 of these. Now this phase is super powerful because it gets you into a state of abundance and it lets you take the power back on your interactions if you get ignored. So when I say, hey, good morning, and someone ignores me, and I say, have a good day, I'm kind of taking the power back in that interaction, but it also puts me in a state of abundance because I still want them to have a good day, even if they don't respond to me. So if they ignore you, have a good day. If they give you a weird look, have a good day. If they smile and look like you're awkward or that they look awkward or whatever, any reaction, have a good day. Doesn't matter. And you can just see in these clips of me doing these actual steps, how it helps me take the power back and like boost my state because I'm still wishing them a good day, even if I didn't get the result that I like wanted.
Hey, you guys look really cute today. Have a good day. Loving the all black.
Huh?
I was saying I love the all black today. Yeah, have a good day.
Now we get into phase 3, which is compliments. So this can be a compliment about anything. Nice shirt, nice glasses, nice shoes. I like your tattoos. It can be literally anything. If you want some bonus points from me and you want to be a very, very special boy, what you can do is you can inject more personal input into the compliment. So for example, I wear silver jewelry, right? I wear my watch and my chain. I'm super jealous of guys that wear gold jewelry. I'm just too pale. I'm a fucking white boy. I can't wear gold jewelry and have it look good on me. So every time I see a guy that's pulling off gold jewelry, I will say, bro, I love that fucking chain, man. I wish I could pull it off. I'm just too pale. I literally can't do it. I'm so fucking jealous. And that puts me in an elevated emotional state and it helps me boost my state because I'm having more fun. I'm injecting more personal input into the interaction. If you're too nervous to do that, no bonus points for you, but it's still okay. It'll be all good. You still can get the 5 compliments in the day. Opening with compliments just gives you a lot of opportunities to extend interactions. I'm about to show you a couple examples of me starting with some compliments to just show you the kind of interactions you can have, even if you're just giving compliments to people.
Hey, I love the shades.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good day, guys. Hi. I love the outfit today.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you're very pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good day. Hey, I really like your outfit. Yeah, have a good one.
Remember, guys, this stuff is supposed to be fun. You're not supposed to want to fucking kill yourself every time you go out and talk to people. Will you be nervous? Will you be shy? Will you be uncomfortable? Yes, hopefully, because that means you're pushing your comfort zone. But it doesn't mean that you can't fucking have fun with it. A lot of guys that go out and they take this so seriously and let their ego get in the way just because you're full of yourself. And I'm saying that as someone who is ultimately full of himself, okay? That is me. So don't worry about it. I'm not judging you. I'm just telling you, if you can't have fun with this, you need to get over yourself and you need to start. Now for phase 4, we're only going to do 3 of these. So what you're going to do is show intent and walk away, right? So what this means is you go up to a girl, you say, hey, excuse me, I just wanted to say you look really cute today. Have a good day. And then you walk away. Now this does a couple things. It gets you out of your head because you're not worried about what the interaction is going to look like, how you're going to extend it, what you're going to say. You know what you're going to say. You know what the outcome's going to be. You're going to walk the fuck away. So it doesn't even matter. When I was starting to approach, I would overthink the fuck out of the opener. And then what am I going to say after? What's the follow-up? And then if she says anything that's a little off script, I would completely freeze up and shut down. This gets you completely out of that because you're just working on the most quintessential part of approaching beautiful women, which is going up to her, getting her attention, and giving her a compliment or saying something that makes it man to woman, right? Now, you can do that in better ways, and I teach guys in my one-on-one coaching program. If you want to learn more about that down below in the description, you can. But you don't need to do that shit yet. If you are still going through like a daily social protocol to get more open and get more relaxed talking to people, you don't need all this shit. You don't need a ton of like, you know, exact lines and openers and everything to say that's the exact right thing. You don't need that. Showing intent and then walking away is a fucking cheat code because 1, you don't overthink. 2, you also get to practice delivering the open in a flirty way. There's a big difference between, hey, I'm Tim. I thought you were cute. Have a good day. And like autistically like staring at her and being like, hey, excuse me. So I saw you. I thought you were really cute. Yeah, have a good day. I just want to say, I thought you looked really cute today. Have a good day. And have a smile on your face. Have a little bit of fucking swag to you. Have some personality. You can practice that in a very safe environment because you're just fucking leaving. You're not even getting rejected. It's rejection proof. It's fucking amazing. If you execute on this process, I promise you, life will change in the matter of weeks. I have guys that are in their mid-30s that are in my program, go through this process, and within 2 to 3 weeks, they're approaching women consistently. The most attractive women they've ever approached in their lives. They're doing it very consistently on a daily basis. You can make massive changes in a very short period of time if you just focus on relaxing, taking consistent action, and holding yourself accountable. If you need help with holding yourself accountable, you can apply for coaching down in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. I used to be so stuck in my head around women that I liked that I would accidentally come off really creepy and awkward. And this was when I was 19 and 20. And I know for you guys watching the channel, that's basically your worst fear that could ever possibly happen when it comes to approaching. And in this video, I'm going to show you the framework and the transformational process that I used to stop coming off as awkward and creepy and start being confident and charismatic. And if you use the shifts that I talk about in this video, which I literally teach to guys for a living, and don't worry, I'm not just trying to pitch you something or sell you something right now. I just want to give you the raw value. And if you want to get my help with implementing, there's always a link down in the description. And honestly, if I see any of you guys being creepy at Whole Foods, then I'll know that you didn't watch this full video because you don't fully understand the concepts. So the first thing about being creepy is you have to understand why guys come off as creepy. The truth is that most guys who come off creepy, they aren't bad guys. I know you know this. You might accidentally have made someone uncomfortable on accident without even realizing it. And the reason for that is because guys that are out of their masculine frame come off creepy. When you hide your intent, when you speak too softly, when you fidget or do any of these weird little nervous giggles when you show intent, women can feel that something is off. And that's what being creepy actually is. It's when your thoughts and your actions do not align. And women can tell when you are doing that. So in the interaction, you think you're being polite, but you're actually signaling, I don't believe I'm doing the right thing by approaching. And that makes you come off so much more off-putting to women than you realize that you are. So in my journey of trying not to be a fucking creep, but still wanting to talk to women in public, I realized that there were some key beliefs that were destroying any chance that I had of coming off charismatic or normal when I would talk to women. And I'll just flash them up on the screen right now. 1, if I show interest, she'll think I'm a creep. If I'm very nice and I don't show a lot of intent, she will eventually be attracted to me. Or if I just wait for the perfect moment, she won't reject me or she won't think I'm weird. She'll think that I'm socially calibrated. These are all lies. These are not facts. They're just weak beliefs that you haven't actually questioned yet. And a lot of them actually make sense. If I wait for the right time, then it's going to come off less creepy. But usually waiting for the right time just ends up with you hovering, looking weird, and just like hesitating, which comes off so much creepier when you actually take action. Creepy me was creepy because I was acting out of fear. I was afraid of judgment. I had fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. And that fear made me weirdly quiet, hesitant, where I was like hovering around waiting for the right time, and off-putting, and women could feel that instantly. I'll never forget, there was one night when I went out, I walked up to a girl at the bar, started making small talk. There was no clear intent, especially in my sub-communication. I was coming off very polite and nice, like I was trying to force small talk, and pretty much within 20 seconds. She was giving me this like kind of awkward, like, okay, like looking to her friends, making an excuse. Oh, I gotta go find my friends. And then she walked away. Oh, it was nice to meet you. And when I got that reaction, I realized that I wasn't authentically being myself. I was brought back to being told something by one of my mentors when I was growing up working on this stuff, where he was telling me that, you know, you need to be in a line with your thoughts and actions. And my thoughts were, I think this girl's really hot and I want to hit on her. And I was just being nice. I was acting platonic. I was acting like her gay best friend. And so later that night, I made a decision. I'm going to approach a girl and I'm going to own my intent. I'm going to make strong eye contact. I'm going to have a relaxed smile. I'm going to stop overthinking. And when I did that, when I did fully lean into what I was interested in, I wasn't afraid she was going to find out that I'm hitting on her, because obviously I'm talking to her at a bar. I'm obviously hitting on her. She actually started leaning in, started vibing, made out a little bit. We went home together that same night. And that was the first time I actually pulled from a bar at like night game. It wasn't some crazy new transformation I made. I was the same guy. It was actually the same night that I had a couple really awkward interactions. It was just a different frame I was coming from. And so the fix actually comes from my IAC framework that I talk about inside of my coaching program. And this framework makes it so you don't come off creepy. The IAC framework is a very simple interaction framework that starts with intrigue and then building attraction and then closing. So here's how it works in practice. When you build intrigue on the open, so this is using curiosity openers like, hey, I'm curious about something. And then just asking a question, what's your ethnicity? You have a really interesting look about you. Or just being really bold and making playful assumptions like, oh, this one, I like you. And actually having like an unfiltered energy about you when you approach. Women really can't be creeped out by that because you're showing so much genuine intent, but you're not leaning in, chasing, trying to get her validation. And that is what I think is really important. And this is a clip where I actually passed a girl, pussied out, didn't approach, and then I went down and I chased her down to approach her.
Okay, we pussied out. I'm gonna go. Hey, I love your style, by the way. Yeah, absolutely. Have a good one. Hey, excuse me. Super random. I like totally chased you down, so that's my bad. I thought you were really cute. And I passed you, I like pussied out. And I was like, no, fuck, I gotta go back.
Well,
So,
thank you.
yeah, what's your name? I'm Tim.
Tim, nice to meet you.
Good, we're both hand sweating. I was a little nervous about that. I was like, when I shake her hand, she's gonna think I'm disgusting, but now we're disgusting together.
Do you live around here?
Yeah, I live on, okay, so fresh.
Yeah.
Very new.
How about
Okay.
yourself?
3 years.
3 years. And you love it,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah,
Where'd
I
you
do.
move from?
Missouri.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Indiana.
Okay, Midwest people.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, we always, there's a lot of us here. Here, we'll grab drinks sometime
All right.
while you're here, and I'll show you a fun time. Catch up with my friend at some point, because they abandoned him. He was like, oh, that girl's your type, you gotta go. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But then I left
There you
him.
go. Well, it was very nice to meet you. And very
Yeah.
bold of you to
You
trace me
too.
down.
Oh, sorry, brother.
But the fact that I'm open about that and I own it and I don't give a fuck, it makes it very hard for her to actually be creeped out by it. Where a lot of guys, if you do this in a hesitant way, a girl would have a very uncomfortable reaction to that. Now, once you build some intrigue by showing really strong subcommunication, owning who you are, and having a really strong frame, what you need to do next is start building attraction. So you turn intrigue into real attraction through teasing, passing shit tests, and holding your frame. This is where your masculine presence needs to come through. So you need to be calm, fun, grounded, relaxed. And this part of the interaction shows that you have nothing to hide and you can actually hold a conversation. So this is where I talk about personal input, how to extend the interaction, all of these things. And there's a few key pieces to this that I'm going to show you in this clip that'll really show how I'm able to build attraction and flip the script and make the interaction more fun.
Hey, quick question. How tall are you? Yeah, like 5'8". Okay, yeah, you're very tall. You're like very my type, so I was like, I have to come up and say hi. Yeah, what's your name? Tim.
Tim. Okay.
Yeah, Tim would be a weird fucking name. That'd be a fucking wild name. What's your name? This is like a crazy height difference that's going on.
Walking down the
Yeah,
street, it was crazy.
yeah. You
Hanging out, shopping.
Yeah, I came out and it's so fucking hot. I'm trying to like get my steps in. I wore black. Oh, I was talking about me, but yeah, I mean you can take it as a compliment, but like I was gonna wait a little bit to be that direct.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm like dying. I'm like wearing all black and shit. I'm like fucking.
Same.
Yeah. What are we thinking? And we'll grab a drink or something. I mean.
Your name is Tim?
Tim.
So in that clip, you saw me talking to this girl and she misheard what I said. She thought I was saying that she was really fucking hot when I was just saying it was really fucking hot outside. I was wearing all black. And so instead of going along with it, I actually corrected her, which is holding my frame. And I made it playful by saying, oh yeah, well, I was actually talking about me, but you know, you can take it as a compliment if you want. And immediately you see the tension break. She starts relaxing, she starts having fun, and we end up exchanging numbers. And the reason for that is because she is feeling relaxed. She doesn't feel like I'm coming off as creepy. I'm willing to acknowledge things or challenge her on stuff and feel very relaxed and then turn it playful. Now, the final piece of the IAC framework is closing. When you're talking to a girl and you spark attraction, rather than asking for a number, hey, can I get your number and then maybe we can hang out sometime, you want to flow the conversation towards actually meeting up. And I'm actually going to show you a clip where this girl says that she's traveling, she's only in town for a little bit, and I say, oh man, you're breaking my heart right now. We were going to get a drink, it was going to be a beautiful night, we were going to have a great time.
How's your day going? Good. Honestly, pretty good. Very chill, honestly.
Me too.
I feel like you have this very like relaxed. You're about to go in Urban Outfitters for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you actually? Did I call that right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you work there or? No, just like it's a
Just here.
leisurely Urban Outfitters type of day.
Yeah.
Do you live around here?
No, I live in Arkansas.
You are seriously breaking my heart right now. That's crazy.
Why?
That's awful. Well, because here's the thing. I was gonna take you out for drinks.
Oh.
It's gonna be a good time. Are you in town with friends? Or? Cool. Do you guys know what you're doing tonight? Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been there. Let me grab your number real quick and maybe I'll buy you a drink or we'll see what happens.
And that actually ends up with us leading the conversation towards us exchanging phone numbers to meet up later that night, where I can actually suggest a drink and get real logistics set up. And most importantly, creepy guys do not lead. Guys that are attractive, guys that are relaxed, they do. So here's ultimately what I realized through implementing this framework for myself that helped me not come off as creepy when I would approach. Creepy wasn't a permanent identity. It was just me being out of alignment with what I wanted and who I wanted to be. I was too afraid to show intent. I was afraid she was going to find out that I was attracted to her. I was afraid to make the conversation playful, and I was afraid to lead. And that act of being hesitant causes you to come off creepy because you're unsure of yourself. Women will pull away, they'll want to eject from the conversation, they'll want to take back control, because if they don't have control, you definitely don't have control because you're not confident in the interaction with leading. So don't waste time like I did. Start practicing the framework that I talk about in this video. Start building intrigue when you open. So start having stronger body language. I have videos on body language, eye contact. I have videos on how to flirt, how to build attraction in the IAC framework on this channel. I actually show you how to flip the switch in all of your interactions on this channel in other videos. And I can make a video breaking down each phase of this IAC framework in detail. Just drop a comment, let me know what you want to know more about, whether it's about building intrigue on the open and opening in a very confident and charismatic way, or it's about building attraction, or even leading and closing. But I've got a lot more coming for you guys, so make sure you subscribe, keep watching the videos. And who knows, if I hit 5K subscribers soon, maybe I'll do an actual in-field breakdown of some of my interactions and show you how this framework actually works in practice. So if you want to apply to work with me personally so I can help you implement this IAC framework for yourself and have direct guidance with me every single week, you can click the link below in the description to apply to work with me personally. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. In my teens and early 20s, I used to really struggle with getting attention from women. Being a guy that could walk into a room and meet a girl, I would literally shake and sweat profusely if I wanted to approach a girl on the street. And over the last 10 years, I've gotten to a point where I can consistently approach pretty much whenever I want. And it makes it very easy to meet new people. And now I have my ideal dating life, which is fucking amazing. And I help other guys do that too. So what I want to do in this video is I want to break down the most common mistakes that guys make that make their dating life inconsistent, which ultimately leads to a lot of problems. Lack of confidence in the workplace, lack of really feeling like you have an abundant social life, an abundant dating life, makes you make worse decisions. You settle down with worse partners. You end up choosing the wrong girls and end up just getting fucked over by women, which ultimately is in your control, but at the time, it doesn't really feel like it. So the first mistake that I know you're definitely making is playing it too safe when you talk to a girl that you are really attracted to. Leave a comment, let me know if this sounds familiar. But talking to a girl that you're interested in, that you're very attracted to, being a shell of your former self, not actually being yourself, not being expressive, playing it really safe, being way too nice. And then when you talk to a girl you're not interested in, you can flirt, you can have fun, you can banter, and it's very easy to get along with those types of girls. It's not that girls that you're not attracted to or not as attracted to are different than girls that you're very, very attracted to. It's that you think they're different and you pedestalize them differently. Too many guys come off as too bland, agreeable, and friendly in interactions, and it makes women not trust you. I know that sounds weird because a lot of these girls will probably say, oh, you're such a great friend, you're such a great guy. But really what that means is that they don't respect you enough to view you as a potential partner when you are clearly interested in them and they like having attention from you, which can sound really bad, but you can't really blame the girl because who doesn't like getting validation? You like getting validation from girls that even if you're not that interested in them, you still like getting the validation. I know a lot of guys that really eat up validation from any type of girl. It doesn't really matter. And women are the same way. We're just humans. We like validation. We like attention. And my best advice for how to stop being too friendly is to just start very small. Start with just having opinions on things. Don't be afraid to disagree. Start using stronger, more polarizing language. So instead of, I like this, I fucking love this. I love sushi. I talk about sushi way too much on this channel, man. It's fucking crazy. I love rock music. I love rap music. I love Drake. I love Drake. I don't really like Drake that much, but he's pretty good. But for the sake of this video, I love Drake, right? I love everything. I love emo rock music from the Midwest. I love video games. I love whatever the fuck you're into. Love that shit. Or stuff you don't like. Country music, I don't like country music that much. I hate country music, even though there's some country music that I listen to. For the purpose of expressing a stronger opinion, I fucking hate country music. Whatever it is you hate, I want you to start saying, oh, I hate that. Because you can say that and not be confrontational, not be combative. Oh, I fucking hate it, right? Having strong opinions is a very, very good way to start breaking down these walls of feeling like you have to just agree and supplicate to everybody that you want to impress all the time. The second thing keeping you from having a consistent dating life is overthinking too much. I know that a lot of guys, they try to watch these videos and think about how can I, think about this better? How can I open this girl better? What's the best opening line? What's the best thing to say? And realistically, man, you can only script so much of an interaction before you fall back on the hard truth of you are you. And you're going to do the best you can in the interaction, and you can learn from every interaction, but you're just you at the end of the day. You watching this video, you're going to be the same guy now as you are after the video. I can't change anything about who you are. I can just change things about how you think about yourself maybe, but you're still the same person. The only thing that changes is your perception. So the fix to this, the fix to stopping overthinking, is to realize that my results are coming from actions that I've taken so far, and realistically, I probably haven't put in the amount of thought and the amount of procedures and processes into my dating life the same way I would with my career, the same way that I would with fitness, the same way I would with anything I want to get better at in life, even getting better at a video game. When I played Counter-Strike a lot back in the day, I would sit in aimbots and I would practice my aim for an hour a day, and then I would practice other shit in the game before I actually played for fun. Because I had processes to get better. The only way you get better at anything is through process and through actually having a system that works for you, that you can iterate on and make mistakes. And if you're living in this world where you refuse to make mistakes, where you refuse to put yourself in situations where you're like, man, I kind of made an ass of myself there. Man, I kind of fucked that up. I stuttered my words. I stumbled my words. I said the wrong thing. I was overly reactive. Whatever it is, you don't know how you're going to react when you approach this girl. You don't know how she's going to react. You don't know how she's going to talk to you, what's going to happen. You could go on a date with this girl. You could hook up with her. You could get rejected. She could totally ignore you. You have no clue. And that's a big problem, is that a lot of guys are not okay with letting go of control. So what I would recommend is, instead of overthinking and trying to control everything, focus on the things that you can control. I'm going to speak up. I'm going to make strong eye contact. I'm going to try to stay in the interaction longer than I think I need to, which is a hint for number 3, the mistake number 3 guys make. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to live in the discomfort. I'm going to get comfortable in that feeling so that I can get better at this part of my life. No one has ever gotten good at anything by not trying to improve. You can't just kind of try. You can't be like, oh man, I wish I could talk to that girl. I'm just powerless. You're not powerless. You're choosing not to approach women. You're choosing not to talk to women consistently. How many women have you actually talked to in the last 10 days? How many women have you gone on dates with in the last month? How much realistic practice, what evidence should you have that you should be better at this? You probably don't have much evidence because you haven't been practicing. And if you don't take this seriously and actually sit down and try to practice it and implement what I'm talking about in these videos, then nothing's ever going to change. No one's coming to save you. The last mistake that men make is not sticking in the interaction. Most men will eject too soon. They will not see the signs that the girl is attracted to them, because women will give very subtle signs. Not every girl is going to touch your arm and laugh at everything you say. Most girls will be kind of neutral, but they will still show very clear signs of attraction. And if you haven't gotten good at systemizing what are the signs I'm looking for, and you don't know exactly what to look for, it's very hard to stick in the interaction. So I would say that the best thing to do is to assume attraction. If she is still there, then she still is open to talking to me. And if she walks away, I'm going to hold my ground and I'm going to be like, okay, have a great day. And I'm going to be like, oh, I love you. Have a good one. It's all good. I'll miss you. See you later. And that's okay. She can walk away and you can feel good about yourself that you stuck in the interaction because you got more time in front of women. The most important thing when it comes to getting good at anything is really just having time. Like for me, the amount of time that I spend on camera means that I'm going to be better on camera. And that's a very important thing to remember. And when you have a system for this and you actually systemize this process where you know what to look for in the interaction, you know how long you need to stay. Okay, on average, I'm staying in interactions for about 2 minutes. I'm going to try to push it for 3. I'm going to add in this new question or this new line of conversation that has worked well for me in the past. I'm going to try to brainstorm things to say in the interaction. I'm going to do exercises on a daily basis to come up with things to say better and be more creative in my interactions. That's how you get fucking better. You don't get better by just approaching girls and being like, hey, thought you were cute. Oh, you have a boyfriend? Okay, bye. That doesn't work. It doesn't get you better. You need to think about, like, actually use your noggin. Okay, a lot of the guys that watch this channel, you guys are fucking smart. Use your fucking big brain, your big science brain, and figure out what are some things I can legitimately do to add into my interactions. How can I detach my ego from the result? I don't give a fuck about the result. I just care about refining my process. And these are all the things that I help guys with inside my coaching program. So you can click the link down below and actually apply to join my coaching program. There's hundreds of examples of guys I've helped over the years with getting to the point where they can consistently approach and get consistent dates. But all of them had one thing in common. They didn't have a system before and they have a system now. And that's the whole thing. I didn't do anything for them. I helped them implement a system that actually works. The system is what matters. So if you're not approaching dating from a systematic perspective, you're shooting yourself in the foot and you're not actually setting yourself up for success. So start by using some of the strategies that I lay out in this video. Start stating your opinion more. Start sticking in the interaction more and thinking about ways you can extend interactions and assuming attraction. Start using some of my processes for eliminating overthinking and just starting to approach and dropping your ego. If you can do these things, then women will start to treat you differently. You're gonna see results after just a couple weeks, just like my clients do inside my program. Like I said, if you want my help implementing these systems for yourself, link is down in the description to apply. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Hey, excuse me. I saw you over here looking very peaceful reading. I thought you were very cute.
Thanks.
Yeah. What's your name?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. What are you reading? Okay. Very cool.
So it's probably hard to tell if this girl actually likes me. Based on this interaction, if you're like I used to be, you probably have no clue on if this interaction is going to lead to a phone number. This girl seems neutral, seems like she's not having that much fun. She's not being super bubbly, touching her hair, smiling, giggling at everything I say. But let's find out what happens.
I'm getting steps in before therapy session. It's going to be an interesting afternoon.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a lot of work done earlier today, and so I'm just chilling right now. I like your cup. It's very like random colors, I feel like. In a good way
I
though.
like orange.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Orange, purple girl? Yeah, it's very exciting. Well, I'll let you get back to reading. Do you have like Instagram or?
I do. Reading it and I just haven't read. I haven't read it since 5th grade.
I actually ended up going on a date with this girl. And for a lot of you guys watching this video, it's probably not obvious why that is. So in this video, I'm going to give you 3 very subtle signs that women will give you that they are attracted to you. And most guys will get these signals from girls that the girl is very interested, especially when you're talking to girls that are more shy, girls that are more reserved initially. Women will always tell you if they're attracted to you. And beyond touching your arm and being super flirty, a lot of guys are pretty blind to a lot of these signs. So the first and most important sign that she likes you, and this is probably the most invisible to a lot of guys, is that she's still standing there. If you are talking to a girl, especially like in the clip I just showed you where I'm talking to this girl on the street where she could walk away, she could say she's busy, she could do anything in that moment, her staying there tells me in my mind that she is actually interested, that she is open to the idea of getting to know me, talking to me, and at least having the conversation. And what a lot of guys don't understand is that sometimes attraction is not going to be very obvious. A lot of girls are not going to show you right away, especially because You just approached her on the street. She has this firewall response that's going to come up naturally, especially if you're nervous. She might be more closed off. And so she might be interested, she might be intrigued, and she might be attracted, but she's not going to know for sure if she likes you. So she's going to give you these more neutral signs. So the next time you approach, remember that if she's still standing here and I'm not hovering over her, I'm not following her, I'm just standing my ground, and she stays here and talks to me, that's a very good sign that she likes you. And you should assume that in how you talk to her. You should have a flirty and bold delivery in your conversation because she's standing there and talking to you. And the more you can flirt, the more you can have fun and tease, like I talk about in my video on teasing. The more you can do that, the better off you're going to be, and the more she's going to open up, and the more obvious it's going to be that she likes you. But a lot of guys don't ever push through this resistance, and they're like, oh, well, the girl's just kind of standing there. She's not telling me I'm attractive. She's not showing a ton of interest. And so it's not very easy to sit in that discomfort and just kind of fucking chill out in the interaction. But that is exactly what you need to do. Not so obvious sign number 2 that she likes you is she gives you layups. The female equivalent to game, and I wish someone explained this to me sooner, is her making it easy for you to flirt with her. What this looks like is her saying things like, I'm not busy this weekend. I'm totally wide open. I'm free. Or even having strong emotional reactions to whatever you say. So if you give a tease and she laughs really hard, or she giggles, or she breaks eye contact and smiles like she's getting nervous, that is a sign that she's interested in you. Now, the problem is that most guys never reach this point because they are too reactive. You sit in the interaction and everything you say, she goes, oh, I'm a nurse. Oh, cool. Oh, I go to school. Oh, cool. Awesome. Oh, do you go to the gym? Oh, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, that's great. And you never have an actual opinion when you're talking to the girl. The best way to get a real, true emotional reaction from a girl that you approach is by having actual opinions. I talk about this all the time on the channel, but if you're not able to express your opinion and be honest about what you think, you're kind of fucked. I use the sushi example all the time. It's like if she says she likes sushi and you go, oh, I fucking hate sushi, that's way better than, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really that much of a fan of sushi, but like, I see why you like it. Right? It's not having a fucking opinion. It's not having a backbone. You need to be able to tease the girl as if she's your little sister. For those of you guys that have a little sister, that is probably the best advice you've ever heard on dating ever. So like write that down and go out and start teasing girls like they're your little sister. Another not so obvious sign is if you approach a girl and her friend comes up to her and she sticks around after, kind of going along with if she's still there, she's into you. That is a really good sign because 90% of the time a girl's friend will come up trying to save her. And if the girl wants to stay, she will stick in the interaction. She will not make excuses. And if she's not sticking around in the interaction, you probably could have built more value. You probably could have spiked emotions more and had more fun in the interaction and at least reached the social hook point where she felt like she wanted to keep talking to you. The last sign that she likes you often comes off like it's a negative reaction from the girl, but it's when she shit tests you. And this will only happen when you have strong opinions, when you're not afraid to offend her, and you do things like curse in the interaction. An example would be if I curse a lot in the interaction, I say fuck or shit a few times, and she says, wow, you curse a lot. Being able to say, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and make a joke out of it, make light of the situation, and just fucking relax and chill out and not react to what she said. That is how you pass a shit test. But the reason that the girl shit tested you in that situation, the reason that girls shit test is because they think you are confident. You're coming off confident. You approach her on the street. You're coming out of nowhere to start a conversation with her. And that is going to tell her, oh, this guy's confident. I better test it as a safety mechanism to make sure he's actually cool, to make sure he's actually attractive. Now in this video, I'm going to give you a ton of signs that women like you, from the least obvious to more obvious. And you're going to want to make sure you stay till the end, because a lot of these, when you put them all together, you're going to realize that girls are actually a lot more interested, especially when you approach in a bold and confident way, than you ever thought they were before. The next group of signals are physical cues that the girl is attracted to you. So there's the obvious ones that every guy talks about that doesn't know anything about women, like, you know, playing with her hair, adjusting her makeup, adjusting her appearance, things like that, adjusting her clothes, those types of things to make herself look better in front of you. That stuff's pretty obvious. But there's some other ones, like making deep eye contact. And you're only going to know this if you're making eye contact with the girl. If you make eye contact with her and you're holding eye contact the whole time you're talking and she's looking deep into your eyes, that's a very good sign. Another sign that is physical that a lot of guys don't pay attention to is if she's standing, and especially if you approach her while she's walking, and she crosses her feet like this, it means that she's not planning on leaving. She's not planning on walking away. And if she was trying to leave, she would have a more ready stance, a stance that's more ready to walk away, or she would be turned away from you, talking to you like this. But if she's standing here facing you, crossed legs like that, it's a very good sign. Another sign is literally if she faces her pelvis towards you, like if she's facing her whole body towards you and she's squared up to you, that is a very good sign. And you want to match that by squaring up to her as well. Even if the conversation is very platonic, but if you have a very flirty vibe and you square up and you have a good proximity to the girl, you can create tons of sexual tension just by doing this by itself. So I've given you a lot that you can look for in your interactions with women. But the biggest problem is that guys rationalize these signs all the time and they frame them in a negative way. Well, she was probably just smiling or laughing at my jokes because she was being nice. She was probably just being friendly. And that is a massive problem. One, when you assume all of these reactions or all of these signs are neutral or negative, or they have a reason for it besides the fact that she's attracted to you, you're going to play the interaction a lot safer. You're not going to flirt with her. You're not going to escalate and try to make the conversation more fun and flirty. You're not going to have that kind of flirty vibe, and you're not going to be able to maintain that, which in the course of an interaction, maintaining confidence is a lot more important than having the perfect first 30 seconds of an interaction. If you can have a 5-minute interaction where you're very confident, you're very relaxed, and you might make a couple mistakes, but you can laugh them off and move on as if they didn't even matter, that is so much more powerful. And having this mindset of, oh, she probably doesn't like me, she probably has a boyfriend, she's probably not interested, that makes it so much harder to maintain that frame throughout the interaction. And I talk about this all the fucking time. But if you assume attraction, it makes it so much easier to play into the cocky, bold, funny, assertive side of your personality, especially if you're a guy that's been a nice guy your whole life. This is one of the first things that I have to help my clients with, get them to a point where they can be flirty, they can own their sexuality, they can own the fact that, hey, it's okay to be sexually attracted to a woman that you meet on the street. It's okay. You don't have to act creepy about it. There's plenty of ways to respectfully be very attracted and sexually interested in a girl that you meet on the street, without over-sexualizing her, without making her feel weird, without making her feel very objectified. And there's also ways to do it while being authentic, while being authentically yourself. I would say that you're not being fucking authentic when you go up to her and you act like you want to know what the fucking time is. You don't want to know what the time is. You want to go on a date with her. You think she's hot. You think she's attractive. And by owning these things and reading all of these signs in the proper way, or at least assuming that they're good until proven otherwise, then you are putting yourself in the best position to lead and move the interaction forward. And your phone numbers will be so much more solid, because I know all these guys that go out, they get phone numbers, they don't go anywhere, they don't end up on a date with the girl. And the reason is because you never make a real, authentic connection with the girl. She doesn't know who the fuck you are. And that is a big problem. So let me know in the comments, what is your biggest takeaway from this video? And if you want to work with me personally so I can help you implement these changes into your dating life, into your whole process for how you communicate with women, then you can go to the link in the description and apply to join the hundreds of guys that I've worked with before to help them get girlfriends, help them get more consistent dates. And I'll see you guys on the other side. Peace.
I used to be so shy and stuck in my head that I literally couldn't talk to girls without shaking. And in this video, I'm going to show you the entire process that I took to go from shaking and sweating when I wanted to talk to a girl that I liked in class or a girl I saw at the mall, to being able to confidently approach any woman that I see on the street, and actually looking at attractive women as this is an opportunity for me to meet a girl that I could actually have a really good time with. And this shift took a long time. And the purpose of this video is to save you years of your life so you're not struggling like I did for years, not knowing what you're doing wrong, feeling confused, feeling like your results are coming from, being balding to not being attractive enough, not being in good enough shape. I'm going to talk through all these things in this video, and you're going to want to stay till the end, because I haven't really seen anybody go into this much detail on how to make a real transformation from an overthinker to somebody who is actually socially confident and gets described as socially confident and fearless by everybody that I meet. I'm not some guy that was just always good with girls. I would play video games all day. I grew up super shy. My dad would try to introduce me to his friends, and I would embarrass him by not saying hi, not opening my mouth, getting stuck in my head. And it was really embarrassing for me. And if you're watching this and you resonate with that type of upbringing, always being the shy kid, then you'll know what I'm talking about. I was the fat kid. I
was chubby. I wasn't in good shape. I got cut from the basketball team when I was 16, even though I was tall, because I was so out of shape. And there are a lot of life lessons that got me to the point where I'm at now, where I coach hundreds of men on how to build more social confidence and how to be a more confident person. So if you're feeling stuck right now in your dating life, just know that this advice I'm about to give you is coming from someone that has experienced exactly what you're experiencing right now. So when I was 18, like I said, I couldn't talk to girls without shaking. And I knew that I wanted to be better with girls. I knew that a relationship or being better with women would not only help me with talking to women and getting dates and having fun, getting a girlfriend, but also making friends with people. I knew that I wasn't as open as I wanted to be. And I thought that it just wasn't in the cards for me. I thought it just wouldn't work because I wasn't good looking enough, or I didn't have that it factor that you see all these guys that are really good with girls. They just kind of seem to have it figured out. And I didn't feel like I had that. But one day I found some pickup videos of like some pickup artist guys that were like 23, 24, that were going to college campuses. They were getting phone numbers. They were like 5'7", 5'8", just normal looking guys, not super rich. And they were getting results in very ridiculous ways, like doing prank style videos, dressing up as Batman, getting a girl's number. And I was like, okay, if these guys are doing it, then I can do it too. And this kind of opened the floodgates for me, because I realized maybe this is something I actually have control over. Because up until this point, I felt like, and maybe you can resonate with this while you're watching this, I felt like all the guys that were good with girls, like I had a friend in high school that was good with girls, they're just charming. They're charming, they're good looking, they know what they know what to say. They always seem to do things right. They're just more gifted in other things. I just felt like that couldn't be me. But when I saw these kind of normal looking dudes getting results, I realized that this is a decision that I have to make to change this part of my life. And so that's exactly what I did. The first lesson I learned along this journey was that you can get better at anything, whether it's talking to women, getting better at video games. And the first exposure I had to that was actually World of Warcraft, where I was really bad at World of Warcraft. I started watching some guides, and I literally saw the numbers on my screen go up because I started pushing different buttons. And I realized that you could do this in person. And so I went out to the mall, I started talking to girls, started talking to everybody, saying hello to as many people as I could. And by this, I really mean I was saying hi to 10% of people, like the least scary people possible. By the time I finally worked up the courage after a couple weeks to approach a girl that I thought was attractive, I didn't get anything from it. I didn't get a phone number, but she actually had a positive reaction. She was like, "Oh, thank you so much. You should keep doing this." I think she could tell I was a little bit nervous. But that was the first lesson I learned, is that most women will react positively to you approaching. And that is very important to understand. If you go in with the intention, I want to do this to push my own comfort zone, then most women will have a positive reaction to this. And if they don't, then you can move on to the next one. It's actually pretty good for you to deal with that rejection and deal with the negative reaction or neutral response, because at the end of the day, it does not need to affect you. And at the time I took rejection really hard, but I'm really glad that I took those rejections, because it got me better at realizing I'm not fucking perfect. Not everyone has to accept me for exactly how I am. Some people will, and that's all I needed to know. After I realized that this is something I can actually get better at, I started to look at things more in terms of actions instead of who I am as a person. Who I am as a person has almost nothing to do with how attractive I am to women. Sure, there's some things, like if you have resources or you have a cool lifestyle, that can help, but it really comes down to the process of how you talk about what you have going on in your life and how you carry yourself. And so when I started thinking about things in terms of process first, what I started to do was change how I made eye contact and change the questions I was asking, change the things I would say in interactions, change how I would carry myself and my tonality when I would open a girl on the street or in the mall. And I started to notice pretty big results and pretty big differences. And when I took this accountability towards my actions are why I'm not getting girls. When I get in front of an attractive woman and I act a certain way, this is why she's not attracted. It's not because I'm not jacked enough. It's not because I don't have money, because I was super broke. I was just a college student. It's not because I don't have anything going for me in life. I actually had a lot going for me. I was good at almost everything that I did because I put a lot of effort into being good at video games, being good at sports. I really tried to be good at everything except talking to women. And I didn't really know why I was doing that. And it was because ultimately I didn't believe that it was a process. Once I saw it as a process, there was a full commitment to getting better at this. And so if you're still watching at this point, you need to make a commitment, if you're feeling stuck, to changing your process. If you don't have a change in process, nothing will change for you. I promise you. Because if you can get better at sports, if you can get better at work, if you can get better at learning a language, you can get better at talking to women. And whether you know it or not, you have a process. This is something a lot of guys don't understand. If you see a girl and you don't talk to her, that's your process. Your process is you stay inside, you play video games, you hide in your hobbies, you hide in TV shows, you hide in YouTube videos, you scroll YouTube shorts or Instagram reels, and you just sit there and you do nothing. You don't change anything. That's your process for talking to women. That's your process for your dating life. And obviously, when I put it like that, it's pretty clear why it's not working, but you need to start looking at things in terms of process. So instead of staying inside, you need to go outside. Instead of being quiet when you walk past people, you need to say hi more often than not. You need to greet them. You need to be more outgoing. And that change in process will change the results that you actually get. The next thing that I had to learn was what confidence actually means. I always thought that confidence meant that, oh, I trust my process so much. I know that this works. I know that I'm going to get results from this. I know that I'm going to say the exact right words for this girl and she's going to be attracted to me. That's not real confidence. What real confidence is having the ability to know that if this girl rejects me, I'm going to be okay. If this girl wants to sleep with me, I'm going to be okay. Nothing will change in my life that will actually ruin my life. Nothing about approaching a girl will actually ruin my life. Even if she's like, oh, this guy's fucking weird, and she texts her friends and is like, oh, this guy's a fucking creep. That still doesn't change your life. I had a girl when I was in high school, like making approaches, text me like, hey, you've approached like 3 of my friends, stop. I don't give a fuck. Like, okay. And then I just kept approaching because it didn't actually change my life. For a second, I was like, oh, am I doing something bad? But then I realized like, no, I'm just like making approaches. I'm like trying to get better at socializing. I'm not going to change that for somebody else's opinion or the opinion of 5, 6, 7 people. Who gives a fuck? I really didn't. And the whole thing is that you don't actually care about other people's opinions either. You just care that there's going to be consequences. But I'm here to tell you there are no consequences for other people's opinions. It's just a little bit of hate. And that's fine. As somebody that has like over 1 million followers on all platforms, I'm somebody that like I get a lot of hate. And that's okay. Like I'm fine. I'm still alive. I'm chilling. I'm fucking making videos for you guys in my car. I'm fucking vibing. There's nothing about my life that sucks. And anything that I think does suck, it's just something I like created for myself and I can just change it. At the end of the day, confidence comes down to knowing that you're going to be okay even if things don't go your way. After about 6 months of approaching consistently and putting in changes to my process, opening girls with confidence, with a smile on my face, making eye contact, getting some dates, I started to finally identify as a guy that is confident or a guy that is socially fearless. I made this change to where I didn't view myself as a shy person anymore. And your identity only shifts when you change your actions and you have a process that you stick to for some consistent amount of time. You can't say that you're a guy that goes to the gym if you don't go to the gym at least 3 or 4 times a week. You can't really say that. Or at least until you do it consistently. If you're constantly taking breaks, if you're constantly, in and out, you can't really say, oh, I'm the type of guy that approaches girls. You have to be able to do this and stick with this consistently as a big focus in your life if you really want to change, and you need to commit to this process and do it consistently so you can have this identity shift. I'm telling you, the moment that you shift your identity from, oh, I'm shy, I'm introverted, I'm not the type of guy that talks to girls, to I am a guy that talks to girls, I am very confident, I feel good about myself. As soon as you start shifting into that, you're not chasing girls anymore. You're talking to women, you're approaching them, but then they're chasing you because you have that identity of a guy that's confident. You'll even see girls start saying things like, oh, I bet you talk to a lot of girls, even if you don't have a ton of experience yet. I noticed that this happened a lot. I would talk to a girl at a bar and she'd be like, oh, you must get a lot of girls. Like, I really don't. I actually didn't. I didn't know how to handle that because I had never had people say that was something that happened for me because I never identified as a guy that was good with women. And I really struggled to get to a point where I was able to identify like that. And the only reason I was able to identify like it was because I committed to a specific process and I stuck to it for a long period of time. I made it a focus for myself. I kind of made this video as if I was talking to my past self, because what my past self that was shy and overthinking and not able to talk to women in any really coherent way at all without shitting his pants was, he needed to understand that has nothing to do with you as a person, man. You don't need to change a ton about who you are as a person, but you do need to change your fucking behaviors. If you don't like the results you're getting in your life right now, if you feel stuck, if you feel like things aren't going your way, And that I have to teach this to my coaching clients as well. If you don't like the results you're getting right now, the results you're getting right now are a product of your decisions over the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. So you need to change your process. You need to change how you think about your decisions. You need to change the decisions that you actually make. And that is ultimately what will lead to the best results in your dating life, but just also in general, your entire frame of how you view yourself. And if I could teach you anything, if I could give you anything to walk away from this with, is that it doesn't matter if you're 5'6", doesn't matter if you're broke, doesn't matter if you're kind of fat. The number one thing, if you are feeling stuck in your head around women, if you're feeling like you're getting left behind, if you feel lost, and so you need to change your process, and that's it. All right, if you want to apply to work with me personally, there's a link down in the description. You can apply to work with me personally. I take on coaching clients. I teach guys how to build up social confidence. I teach you guys how to actually implement the processes that I talk about in this video, fixing your tonality, fixing your subcommunication, fixing your body language. Apply down in the description. If not, all good. Let me know in the comments what you want to see from me in the future. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. I used to think that talking to women was this thing that is so fucking hard to do. And if you're a young guy or just a guy in general that has never really seen attracting women as a skill, I'm going to change your mind in this video. And me and my cat Olive are going to give you some very specific strategies on how to actually set up your dating life for success so you can get consistent results. Now, if you know anything about me and this channel, you know that I'm a guy that I generally was really shy and didn't know how to talk to girls without shaking until I was like 19 or 20. So I was very shy growing up, and I really struggled with just talking to women, even opening my mouth. And in the last 10 years, I've gotten to a point where I have my ideal dating life. I'm married to the girl of my dreams. I'm really happy with everything in my life in terms of relationships. I have a really good relationship. I've been on hundreds of dates from day game, been on hundreds of dates from night game, and I just had a lot of experience with women. I would say I'm pretty good with women now. And like if you honestly, if you know me personally and you ask anybody in like my friend circles or you ask anybody around me, then women are generally pretty attracted to me. And it's because of the habits that I built up that I'm going to teach you in this video. And it starts with the mindsets that I'm going to talk about. So by the end of this video, you're going to understand that attracting women is not just something you have or don't have. It's something that you can build over time, and you can have a real solid and consistent way to attract women consistently in your life. Very, very simply, if you just have some of these systems and mindsets in place. Now, if you've been watching my channel or you watch other dating content, then you know that this skill is not something that's very easy to do. Because if it was something that's easy to do, then every guy would do it. It'd just be kind of on autopilot. We'd teach it everywhere. Your dad would know how to do it. Your uncle would know how to do it. But at the end of the day, like, this is something that is very hard to do. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down a very simple formula for you guys on my screen over here on how to actually get better with women in record time without wasting a bunch of time wondering if it's my looks, if it's, you know, my haircut, if I'm balding, if I'm too short. You're not going to worry about any of these things because everything I'm going to give you in this video is exactly what you need in order to actually level this stuff up. This is the most important bare bones explanation that you will ever see anywhere on the internet. I've broken down getting better with women into a very simple formula that I have up here on the screen, okay? And this is going to take you from being this sad little monkey that nobody cares about. Oh, he's alone in a tree. He has a banana. Oh, he's so sad. To being this guy that's a total giga chad, super cool, has sunglasses, has friends, has women around him, is very attractive to women. And the real nuts and bolts of what this comes down to is volume times effort equals skill, okay? That is it. And that's all you have to do. So first, what do I even mean by skill? Skill is going to be all of your behaviors and how you act around women. And I have another beautiful drawing for you that I'm going to show you in just a second. And what you have to understand about skill with women is that women don't reject you. They're not rejecting this guy right here. They're rejecting all of your behaviors. So how you open, the subcoms you have, the DHVs you have, the way you talk about yourself, the lines you have, the flirting, the teasing, the frames, the sexualization, the escalation. She's rejecting those things. She's not rejecting this guy, this cute little dude with the smile on his face. She's not rejecting this guy. She doesn't like your behaviors. And that's the most important thing you have to understand. So your behaviors are really just and implementation of the skills that you have. So if you're not very good at flirting yet, if you're not very good at having good subcoms, if you're not very good at opening in a strong and confident way, then she's rejecting those skills. So what do we have to do? Well, obviously we have to increase our fucking skills. We have to get better at talking to women. And so this is how you're going to do this. You're going to increase volume, which is how many interactions am I getting? But you can't just increase volume. You have to have purpose behind the interactions that you get into. So if you go out and you approach 5 times in a day, but you're not paying attention to one specific skill, like let's take opening, for example. I'm not focused on how can I open better? How can I open louder? How can I smile more when I open? How can I have a more flirty delivery? If I'm not focused on that, I'm not going to get better at it. And so those 5 opens, those 5 interactions, I will learn nothing from it except maybe a little bit of desensitization to rejection, which is why guys will go out, they'll get to the point where they can approach once a day, which I think for a lot of you would be like, holy shit, I wish I could get to that point. But even when you get to that point, a lot of these guys, they just go out and they approach and they approach. And I see this with my coaching clients. They start approaching a lot, but they don't make any changes. They don't pay attention to the effort, and they don't have a focus on the skill that they need to improve in order to improve their approaches. So it would actually be much better, instead of making 5 approaches per day, it would be much better or greater to do 1 approach a day with a specific skill in mind. So holding eye contact better, smiling more when you open, talking louder, and then reinforcing that after you make the approach. This is where guys get it all wrong. They don't have a system or a process for how to build up the skills that are necessary to get better with women. Now, what are the skills you actually need to get better with women? What are the skills that are most important? Well, I talk about it a little over here, but I'm just going to break down a few that are going to be the most valuable for you watching this video, my friend. Okay. So first, obviously, we have the open. The open is going to be what you say. It's going to be how you say it. And it's going to be your body language, how you actually carry yourself when you open. So when you're practicing opening, you want to be working on one of these 3 things. So instead of, hey, what's the weather? You could be like, hey, excuse me, I thought you were super cute. What's your name? Or you could even go better and you could do a more indirect opener that's still confident. Like, hey, I'm super curious about something. Are you guys best friends? Like if you're approaching a group of 2 girls, right? That gets the conversation to be open. The next thing is, how am I doing it? So instead of, hey, I'm really curious about something. Are you guys best friends? It's, hey, I'm super curious about something. Pause. Are you guys best friends? That is so much better, so much more confident. And then third, the body language. How do I carry myself? So am I open? Am I talking with my hands? Or am I like this? Hey, I'm really curious about something. Are you guys best friends? It comes off weirder than if I'm like, hey, I'm super curious about something. Are you guys best friends? That's so much more confident. And that's just one skill. Let's move on to the next skill. Subcoms. This is how you carry yourself throughout the interaction over a longer period of time. So like 5, 10, 15 minutes. How long can you hold eye contact without breaking it because you're nervous? How long can you have open body language and talk with your hands? How long can you square up with the girl, right? Like pelvis facing towards her. How long can you control your rate of speech? Like how fast or slow you're talking, getting sped up in the interaction. How can you control that in the best way possible? These are all things that you need to work on. So for example, with eye contact, end your sentences. So end sentences with eye contact, right? End sentences with eye contact. Open body language, wide shoulders, talk with your hands, right? Squaring up, pelvis towards the girl, right? Rate of speech, slow down and use pauses. These are all things that you need to actually work on. And these are like really valuable. If you just implement these, you'll get way better results. Now we can talk about another skill, which is frames. Frames are like, what is my worldview? What are my beliefs? What beliefs am I bringing into this interaction? And there are a few frames that I think are really fucking important here. One is not taking negativity or negative response as if she doesn't like you. So one frame would be, this is a firewall response from the girl, not she hates me. Because she probably doesn't hate you, she probably just doesn't know you. And so she's not being open yet. Or assuming attraction. That's another positive frame. Assuming things are going to go your way. So you assume attraction and you can lead. And instead of asking, hey, can I please get your number? You assume, yeah, let me get your number. We'll hang out sometime. That's so much more confident. All of these frames are very important. These are things I teach inside of my coaching program. So the whole point of this video is that, one, girls are not rejecting you, this cute little dude that's just harmless. He just wants to talk to this girl. She's not rejecting you. She's rejecting this category of behaviors that you're not dialed in on yet. And that's fine because you can work on these. You don't have enough practice with it. And the way you practice these skills is through volume of interactions and how much effort you put into improving the skill. So maybe if you feel stuck, if you feel like you don't know why you're not getting better, maybe you've been approaching for a while, this might be why. So I want you to take this moving forward and let me know in the comments how it goes for you. And I want you to try to reframe, if I'm putting in the effort, if I'm getting the approaches in, which a lot of guys aren't. A lot of guys aren't approaching enough. But if you are, what kind of effort am I putting in to actually thinking about the skill? Or am I just blindly approaching, not really making any changes to my behavior? Because you have to do both of these to increase skill, which will lead to you being epic, having all these friends, having all these girls around you. That's the most important stuff. All right? I'll see you guys in the next video. Apply for coaching down below. Peace. In the last 10 days, I scoured Reddit, I used ChatGPT, and I just generally did super deep dive research into the top 10 best pieces of dating advice out there. So these are all pieces of advice that you have definitely heard at least once from, whether it's your cousin Larry or some dude on Reddit that has never had a girlfriend in his life, or some cringe red pill dumbass that thinks that he can tell you how to be a fucking man, but he actually has no idea how dating works or how attraction works. I'm gonna break down all these in this video. Let's get into it. The first piece of advice, and this is a fucking doozy, dude, is wait 3 days before texting. This is really bad for a few reasons, but the first one is that it doesn't make you look nearly as fucking cool as you think it does. Maybe back in 2004 when you'd approach a girl and a girl would be like, oh, I really hope that he texts me, and she's waiting on the text, and maybe if the interaction goes really well, it can do well for you. But for most of you guys, it's better to just text an hour or 2 hours after you get her number and just not say some fucking needy shit. The reason that all of these Redditors and red pill guys are telling you to wait 3 days before you text a girl when you get her number is because they're trying to play games or play tricks on the girl rather than just relying on having a really fucking good interaction. And that's what most guys don't want to work on. They don't want to work on how to be more playful and flirty and have more fun when they talk to girls. They want to focus on what's the texting thing I can do. Man, I texted this girl 2 days after I got her number. If I would have waited 3, she would have texted me back. No, bro, your vibe was pretty shit in the interaction. You didn't smile when you talked. You were way too serious. You didn't make eye contact. You acted super disinterested, but not even in a mysterious or attractive way. She's not thinking about you after you get her number. She's scrolling TikTok. She's scrolling Instagram. She's getting hit up by some other guy that actually has the balls to like text her and take her out and take the lead. And ultimately, I think waiting too long just kills your entire frame, makes it so you're not a leader. So here's what to do instead. What you actually want to do is get the girl's number for the purpose of going out with her. So, hey, yeah, we should grab sushi sometime. We should grab drinks sometime. You should tell her that. She should agree. She should say, yes, cool, let me get your number and we'll make some plans. And maybe while she's putting her number in your phone, she's typing in, you go, oh, cool, yeah, like what part of town are you in? Awesome, yeah, no, we should totally hang out. Yeah, what's Thursday look like? And you kind of lightly talk about schedule so you have something to actually talk about when you text her. And when you text her, don't just lead with making plans. Start with some sort of callback humor to the original conversation. And if you don't have anything you can joke about in the original conversation, then the original interaction fucking sucked. I hate to say it, man, but at least for me and for all the guys that I know that are actually good with women, having some humor, having some ability to be creative and have fun with a girl is one of the most important things in the interaction. You can't just be this stoic, stone-faced, alpha male, red pill retard and think that women are going to be attracted to you, bro. They're just not. You have to have a light and fun side to you. So that's bad advice number one. One of the worst lies and myths I've ever seen is don't wait 3 days to text her. Just text her right away. And if she doesn't text you back or she doesn't go on a date with you, then she probably just gave you her number to be nice, and you need to work on your initial interaction. The second piece of advice, which obviously I disagree with, is that cold approach is creepy or cold approach doesn't work. Cold approach isn't good. You should use social circle. You should use your status to actually like meet people and talk to people. Guess what? If you don't know how to go up to someone cold and talk to them, you can't use your status. You can't use any of these things. You can't have a bunch of pre-selection, have a bunch of parties without talking to people and having conversations. You need to be able to cold approach people out of nowhere on the street and just start conversations. If you're not a social person, you will not have a social life. I don't know how that's somehow a hot take now, but you can't just use dating apps, get one match a week with some girl that doesn't even look like a picture. She's not attractive. You're not into her. And you just use it as validation. Like, well, maybe if the dating app keeps stringing me along and making me pay hundreds of dollars for matches, hundreds of dollars for boosts, then maybe I'll meet a super hot girl one day from the dating app and I'll actually make friends from this somehow. Nothing's ever going to happen for you, bro. You need to build up social skills. You need to be able to talk to people. So having this mindset of like, cold approach is weird, I can't talk to people, people are closed off. Doesn't matter how weird people think it is. You need to talk to people if you want to make friends. And if it takes being weird for 6 months or a year to actually get a dating life or get a social life that you actually want, then that's totally worth it. I don't give a fuck. That's fine. And that's totally worth it for me. If it's not worth it for you, that's fine. But honestly, real talk, being lonely is probably your destiny, and that's kind of what it is. Speaking of destiny, I've seen a ton of advice on Reddit and YouTube that looks are your destiny, height is your destiny. And I can tell you as somebody that is literally coaching guys that are 5'5", 5'6", 5'7" in my program, that you can make girls that are taller than you visibly nervous and excited and honestly freaking the fuck out, kind of breaking their reality because they're attracted to you and they feel like they shouldn't be. 90% of girls not being attracted to short guys is how the guy carries himself. And then how the guy handles the shit test of being short. Because girls will shit test you if you're a short guy. They will do it. They will shit test you on being balding. They will shit test you on things that you might be insecure about. But it's how you handle those shit tests in a nonchalant way where you don't really give a fuck. And it's like, yeah, I mean, listen, hey, you might not like short guys normally, but you just haven't met me yet. And that's cool. I don't blame you for that. There's only one me. It's all good. And if you can handle that with grace and be relaxed and fucking chill, rather than trying to prove yourself, well, I make a lot of money, or actually, you should give me a chance, and you try to convince her. If you stop trying to convince her and you actually focus on how can I just not react to this situation? How can I just be like, yeah, I mean, maybe that's a problem for some guys. Not for me though. It's all good. And then you just ignore it and you move on with the conversation with a very relaxed and confident vibe. You're chilling. I promise you. This one comes direct from ChatGPT and it's telling me to be alpha and dominate the interaction. Girls don't like very alpha, obnoxious, like big, strong, jacked fucking dudes. They like guys that are kind of more nonchalant. And I saw Casey Zander talk about this. His channel's pretty good as well, especially if you're like an older guy. Girls want a guy that's nonchalant more than they want a guy that's alpha. They don't want a guy that takes himself way too seriously. They don't want a guy that only talks about the gym and Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson and all of his epic conservative podcasts that he listens to. Listen, man, if you're a conservative guy, great. There's lots of guys in my program that are conservative, but it doesn't make you cool. It doesn't make you cool just because you have traditional values. It doesn't. I promise you. It doesn't make you interesting or fun to be around. If the only thing you connect with other people on is having the same political beliefs or having the same like alpha male like beliefs about yourself, and you take yourself so seriously and you look at everything through this lens of trying to, you know, alpha male other people and how does this make me look, you just come off insecure as fuck. You come off like dudes like Wes Watson and like all these fucking dorks online that end up going back to jail because they get in fights or, you know, they have too much confrontation. The guys that are actually cool, the guys that actually provide value in the world are not these overly macho alpha males, okay? They're guys that have boundaries. Like, I have a lot of boundaries in my relationship. I will say, like, hey, don't do that because it makes me feel this way. I don't like that. Or I will say, hey, let's do this instead. I take the lead in my relationships. I take the lead when I go on dates, and I take the lead when I talk to women. But I'm not this guy that's going to take himself so fucking seriously. And hopefully you guys can see this like through the videos. I'm not trying to prove to myself or prove to you that I'm some epic alpha male that just gets bitches. That's so fucking cringe. It's so played out. Even when it comes down to women liking guys that get girls, it's not that she likes the fact that you're out fucking a ton of girls. She likes the fact that you could get other girls. She wants you to have the ability to, which comes from being nonchalant, being confident, being relaxed in conversation, and being able to let your personality out and actually be yourself in an authentic way, not in a super overly nice way. That actually leads me into the next piece of advice, which is to just be yourself. Without some definitions, just be yourself is the worst fucking dating advice I have ever heard in my entire life. And the reason it's such a problem is because most guys think that themselves is like this nice, overly polite, walking on eggshells guy that never actually has an opinion, never cause any trouble, never speak up, never have a strong opinion on anything. It's so fucking bad because that's not you. Like, you watching this video, you have opinions. You probably have opinions about the things that I say on the videos. You probably have opinions about, oh, he's kind of balding. Oh, well, he obviously gets girls because he's tall or whatever. You have your opinions, and that's okay. You're entitled to your opinions. And when you talk to women, all those opinions go out the window. When she says something you disagree with, like, I like pizza. Oh, I fucking hate pizza. I know it's like normal for people who like pizza. I fucking hate pizza. That's an example of being yourself. It's a very basic example, but it's an example. Another example would be like talking shit on shows that everyone else likes, but you don't like it. And the thing is, you have to actually dislike these things. We all know that guy that's a contrarian for no reason. He disagrees with everyone for no fucking reason. It's super cringe, right? You have to actually have these beliefs. But if you can actually have the beliefs that you have and stand on them and not be afraid to disagree, that's very attractive. So when you're trying to be yourself, you need to ask yourself, who am I actually? What opinions do I have actually? How can I unfilter myself completely? Because we all have, walking through society, all these filters on ourselves. I need to act like this. I need to say this. I need to say the polite thing. She asks me a question. I need to ask her the same question back so I'm not rude. I'm not a dick. I'm not an asshole, right? And it's not that the asshole gets the girl. Assholes don't get girls. Guys that have opinions get girls. Guys that speak up for themselves get girls. Guys that go for what they want get girls. Guys that are unapologetically themselves get girls. And because they don't play by the rules of polite society, that is what is attractive. That's what makes you assertive and dominant and confident. And an actual like alpha male is being able to disagree with these things. Another piece of advice I see all the time is never compliment women. It's such a stupid piece of advice. Now, you shouldn't compliment women like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Wow. Oh, and then like wait for her reaction. But if you can compliment a girl and make it not a big deal and do a compliment in passing, show intent in passing in your interactions, it adds a nice layer to the interaction. So I'm talking to the girl, blah, 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 blah. Oh, you have a really pretty smile, by the way. Anyway, yeah, so I was saying blah, 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 right? That is a way better way to compliment the girl than versus what most guys do, which is like, oh, you're really beautiful, by the way. Do you think I'm attractive as well? And it's like super fucking weird, bro. It's super fucking weird. If you could just calm down, relax, give the compliment in passing, not put so much value on it, and realize that giving a compliment to a girl is not valuable. She gets compliments a lot. But being able to say it because you're thinking it and speaking your mind, that is what is actually attractive. And this is the last piece of advice that I see. I see this mostly from like normie guys on Reddit of matching her energy. You need to match her energy. No, bro. You are the masculine leader of the interaction. In every interaction you have with a woman, if you want to make that conversation man to woman, you want to build attraction, you need to be the masculine one in the interaction. So you need to talk about what you want to talk about. If she gives a one-word answer, you need to give a 100-word answer about something else or rant about something that you're passionate about to spike her emotions and show that you are not affected by her firewall response. I see so many guys bail on interaction after interaction after interaction because they open and, oh, the girl didn't give me anything to work with. Bro, you talked to her for 30 seconds. She gave you 3 one-word answers and you're like, well, she must not be into me. I'm not going to chase because I'm too good for that. Bro, you're not chasing if you just have fun in the interaction. You just talk shit. You just talk shit in the interaction. There's an exercise I give my clients where I just have them set a timer for 5, 10, 15 minutes and just talk and just blabber. And if you blabbermouth for 5 minutes, I've done this with girls that haven't given me anything to work with. I'll just keep talking and talking and talking and authentically expressing myself in the exact way that I want. Always just unfiltered, completely making jokes that I want to make, saying everything I want to say. And I promise you, you have this inside of you. You have this ability to be unfiltered. You just haven't practiced it yet. And so when you can turn on this like motor mouth skill of just like talking and talking and talking just for fun. I'm talking about whatever, like my sick Rolex here that I have. It's fucking dope. It's actually a $60 watch my buddy got me, who's like really into Labubus for some reason, which whole nother fucking thing. Or this Carhartt hat that I always wear in my videos, and it looks like shit because I wear it outside and it kind of smells bad. It's kind of gross. I'm just talking about whatever comes to my mind. And you can do the same thing. You can do the exact same thing when you go out and you talk to women, but you don't, because you think that she has to give you something in order to match her energy. When you are matching her energy, you are inherently following and you're not moving the conversation forward. That's how you end up in relationships where you go on 8 dates and then you guys never have sex, or you never become exclusive and it kind of dies out. Or you have some texts and they never go anywhere because it kind of dies out. Or you have an interaction with a girl and you never ask for her number and she says, nice to meet you. It's because you're not leading. You're matching her energy and you're looking for permission from her. All right. Hopefully this cleared up some things for you guys. I like making these videos. Let me know what you guys want to see from me in the future. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.